Yo everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I want to bring you guys something decently new, something decently old that is on the community at the moment. To what if Naruto had infinite chakra? If you guys actually want to see more of this type of stuff in the future, give this video 200 likes and I'll make the next video as soon as possible for this series. This video is around 3 hours and 50 minutes long, so I do hope—
Stop the cap! Stop the cap right now!
Hope you guys enjoy this. And also one last thing, I mass pre-recorded when my mic was broken because I get asked this question quite a lot on my community tab, saying that am I going to use my normal voice or not. Yes and no, I'm going to switch halfway through it, but if I don't, that means the recording software I use got corrupted and crashed halfway through my recording. So I had to use the text-to-speech version that I had stored up when my mic was broken. So that clears up what I actually had the problems with text-to-speech. So we only have a couple more text-to-speech videos to upload throughout the year, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Naruto Uzumaki was a rather mature boy for his age. He got up early every day, went to class, did his work, went home, ate all his veggies at dinner, and went to bed before it got too late. This a surprise considering he doesn't have anyone taking care of him, though he does cause a little trouble with the pranks he enjoys every other day. Now for such a good kid there was a lot of bad things happening around him. People would glare or yell at him if he went into town for groceries, and some would even try to hurt him for the simplest of things. People judged everything he did, and they always judged him as the criminal, the bad guy. Today he was sitting in class looking bored out of his mind, but he was excited. They were going to have a representative from the hospital today, and he was going to tell them about an awesome jutsu that he can do, and then there was a 3-month break before the next year started. Okay class. This is Aoda Mijichi. He will tell you about a jutsu that most men use as well as explain a little about the chakra circulatory system. The class teacher Iruka said. Motioning to a man covered in a white overcoat and face mask, the uniform most men use. Hello everyone, my name is Aoda and the technique you are all so eager to learn about is this. The man flung his hand up, his pointer and middle fingers the only ones extended, though there was a green glow extending from the 2 fingers for about 2 or 3 inches above them. This is a chakra scalpel. We medics use them for important surgeries as well as for fight. The man said with his eyes closed. How can they be any good in a fight? They're so tiny. A boy in the class, Kiba Inazuka, said with a frown on his 11-year-old face. The man looks at Kiba, then turns around and walks over to the door. In a flash of movement his fingers swiped all around the door and then, boom, the door fell to pieces. Every student in the class was staring at the mess with wide eyes. Cool. Kiba yelled. The students started talking about how cool it was and how they wish they could do it. Now. Most ninja cannot use this jutsu. The man states, causing most of the class to moan in disappointment. The reason for that is because most nin do not have the chakra control. Aoda walks up to the front of the class and puts a giant poster on the wall. It was a picture of the chakra system. This is the chakra system. The ability to control your chakra starts with this. He points to the very center of the picture. There was an area on the figure that was a slight swirl inwards and a circle at that point. This point right here is your chakra core. Now, everyone's core is around the same size at your ages. But it does grow as you get older and use more chakra. Now your chakra is, as you all know, a mixture of physical and spiritual energy, but what most of you probably don't know is that inside the center of each of your chakra cores is a little tiny piece of solid chakra. This is what helps us replenish our chakra over time by gathering the 2 energies and storing them. As you get older and gain more control of your chakra, this fragment will grow, allowing you to use more jutsu as well as concentrate your chakra better and also allow for easier chakra control. In other words, the bigger the shard, the easier it is to control your chakra. Ha ha ha. Aoda lured, though the class, while interested in his jutsu, it was not interested in this lecture. Most of the kids were bored and a few were even asleep. The jutsu I used earlier was a form of concentrated chakra. That got some attention. One kid raised her hand and Aoda pointed to her. Ano, I heard that people can put chakra into their muscles to make them stronger and faster. Is that true? Aoda smiled at her. That is correct. In fact, this is what most taijutsu experts do to train. The more chakra you can put into your muscles, the more will circulate in them naturally. With that, the man goes in depth about how mednin need perfect control and how it helps them work. Later that day, Naruto was walking home and thinking about the awesome jutsu he saw. Wow, if I had that much chakra then I would be invincible. Hey, Aoda-sensei said that it's easier to concentrate chakra while inside the body and that with a little bit of focus you can feel it inside of yourself and move it. I wonder if I could. With that, Naruto got an idea. He usually only got these when he wanted top rank someone, but this was a stroke of absolute genius. He said that there was a piece of solid chakra inside our chakra cores. I wonder if I could make that shard thingy in my body grow. That would be awesome. That thought made him stop looking around. He noticed that he was almost home and that it was also still pretty early. It wasn't even 4 o'clock yet, so he decided to change directions to the forested area a few miles from his apartment building. His own little training area that he found. Nobody used it because it was just a forested area with no training dummies in it, just a bunch of giant trees and a fence around it. Though the bugs and animals were cool whenever he found them, even though he usually had to run from them. Though he never did go too far, there was a creepy tower at the center and he wanted to avoid it and the other bigger animals and bugs that were probably near it. Reaching his usual spot, he sat down on the ground by a river, concentrating on finding his chakra like they were taught. There. He found his chakra. Now maybe he can find that pace. After 5 minutes of concentrating, Naruto couldn't find anything. There's too much chakra around my insides for me to find it. If only I could move it. Concentrating again, Naruto found his chakra and began moving it around, but he didn't know where to put it. So he dumped it out into his body. It hurt a lot, but he just put that off as being the first time he ever did it. He started to feel tired but kept concentrating on finding his solid chakra. After a half an hour, Naruto gasped as he found his core. No wonder he said that chakra was hard to control, so much power. Now if only I could. Searching out his core, Naruto decided that there was too much chakra in his way, so he pushed it out into high network, and that when he felt it. There was a bit of a force when he pushed out some of his chakra, like water pushing against you. Stopping for a second, Naruto focused on leaking his chakra out of his core slowly. He felt that push again. Directing himself to it, he found the source and was surprised by the sheer power this tiny area gave off. Concentrating on it, he pushed his chakra towards it and it pushed back, hard. Losing focus for a second, he noted that he had a headache, but decided to ignore it. Focusing on that spot again, he found the piece and decided to leak his chakra to it slowly. There was a push, but the chakra was flowing to the little shard. He continued this for 5 more minutes and noticed that it had grown slightly, but it wasn't anything amazing, so he decided to leak his chakra a little faster. The push was a bit stronger, but Naruto was ready for it. He continued as the push faded away and he felt the shard grow in fascination. An hour later, watching his piece of solid chakra grow was the coolest thing ever. It was now the size of a marble, where before it was smaller than a piece of rice. I wonder how big Hokage has made his shard. I know. I'll ask him. Naruto stood up and almost fell down immediately. When he stood, he did it so fast that he lost balance. What the heck? Looking down, Naruto noticed his muscles were bulging slightly. Oh yeah. I put a lot of chakra into them. Hey, I'll talk to GG tomorrow. Let's see how awesome I am with this. After that, he tried running only to fall down face first. 20 feet away from where he started. Maybe I should start slow. Getting back up, he dusted himself off and walked deeper into the forest, starting off at a walk, then a light jog. He was amazed at the amount of speed he now had. But it was hard for his eyes to follow. Maybe he just needed to get used to it? Jogging around the forest, he notices just how deep he had gotten. The tower was so close now. What? But I've only been jogging for about an hour or 2. How am I this close? He also noticed that it was almost dark now, probably 8 or 9 at night. Oh man. It's so late. Ah well, I guess I could try spending a night in that stupid tower. Now that I see it up close it's not so scary. He looked at the tower and jogged towards it. About 5 minutes later he was at the base of the tower and saw a bunch of doors. Whoa, that's a lot of doors. Meh, I'll just pick one and see what I can find. This is so awesome. Going up to a door he opens it and notices that the lights were on. Okay, that's kinda creepy. Walking around he notices a big empty room with what looks like a scoreboard in the back. Hey, kid. What are you doing here? Turning around and jumping back Naruto notices a lady with purple hair and a stick of dango hanging out of her mouth. Both her eyebrows were up in a surprised look and he noticed, AW man. I jumped all the way across the room. Dude, I flew, he smiled at the lady. Sorry, I didn't know anybody lived here. I wanted to explore the tower after my training. I always thought this place was creepy, but it's not nearly as scary as the forest around it. Smiling wide at the lady. I'm sorry for intruding in your home. I didn't know the forest was owned by anyone, so I've been using the eastern part of the forest to train, 'cause it was closer to the wall. I figured nobody'd care. Can I still use it? The lady's jaw was slightly hanging open, her eyes wide at this. This kid has been using the eastern part of the forest to train? That part of the forest was dangerous, even for most Chunin and Jounin. The fact that a kid was using it to train of all things was really shocking. Blinking a few times the lady closed her mouth and stared at the kid. Kid, how did you get here? There was ANBU patrolling the forest a few hours ago because some of the animals were acting strange. They would have spotted you if you were this far into the forest. She said, taking the stick of dango out of her mouth. Oh you know that area in the eastern part of the forest that has a clearing next to a small river that splits into a mini lake? She knew that spot. It was close to the fence and a pretty nice spot to relax, not the best, but still a nice area. Seeing her nod her head he continued on, after the academy let out today I went there to try something that I thought up from what that guy Aoda sensei said in class. About 2 hours ago I decided to take a jog and see if it worked, you know, putting massive amounts of chakra into your muscles and stuff. It worked and I ended up running here. He said with an embarrassed laugh at the end. You expect me to believe that you got through this forest in 2 hours by yourself? She knew that Aoda was at the academy. He helped heal prisoners after they got too banged up and he had been looking forward to teaching the students something. I could show you? He was nervous. He didn't really want to brag, but she would probably want proof. This was a big forest after all. I just hope you can keep up. He said, walking out the door. She followed him. It's not like he could be that fast, right? Brat probably had an ANBU help him get in so they could prank her. Besides, the only people that could get to the center of this forest in that amount of time were Miyato Gari, her, and some ANBU. After exiting the tower she saw him hopping up and down a little, a nervous smile on his face. You better be fast, Gaki, because I have had a long day. He looked at her and frowned. Okay then, let's go. With that he shot off, and I mean literally, he was going almost as fast as GAI. Oh shit. She ran after him but couldn't keep up. After about an hour she found him laying on the ground panting. This was the area he said he had trained in. What the hell was that? She yelled at him. This kid was fucking fast. That was what I was forking on all day. But I jogged to the tower. I ran back here at full blast. He wasn't panting anymore, but he looked a little tired. Well, I believe you now, kid, but what's your name and do you know a guy named Miyato Guy? She asked, sitting down against a tree. That really wore her out. She ran full speed and couldn't keep up. She even pumped chakra until it hurt to try just to keep up with him. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, future Hokage. And I never heard of that dude. He said, looking at her. So what's your name? I'd rather not call you lady. This was that kid? What the hell did he do? Last she heard he was the dead last of the academy. My name's Anko, brat, and I am a Tokubetsu Jounin. How did you get so fast? Aren't you like, the dead last of your class? He stared at her for a second and replied. Could you please not call me that? Besides, I already said how I did it. I pushed chakra into my muscles and it really hurt a lot too, but after an hour or so it wasn't as bad. It still sting and my body is really sore, but that's a good thing, right? No pain, no gain. He yelled the last part with his fist in the air and a grin on his face. Her mouth was dry and she felt a bit of jealousy from this explanation. When someone puts chakra into their muscles it hurts after a certain point. This is because the muscles aren't used to it yet, but taijutsu users will put enough into their muscles to make it hurt, and then they train to allow their bodies to get used to the strain of it. The more chakra put in, the more pain you would feel. The amount needed to be as fast as this kid was at the moment was extreme and scary. The pain alone should have been enough to pass out. The fact that he was awake and then went on a jog after was just insane. This kid was either a genius, or a genius of hard work, as Gary would say. Kid. He looked at her and she smirked. You're insane and that's something I like, but you need to come with me. What you did is absolutely amazing and I think the Hokage should hear it. He looked at her and his eyebrows were furled. What do you mean? I just did like I was told. He was confused. You were almost as fast as the top taijutsu user in the village, though only almost as fast as he is with his weights on. That means you're faster than anyone your age in this village at the moment. The look of shock made her smile. Got one over the little Gaki. Oh, okay. As she stood up, Anko looked at the kid. Yeah, he was pumping chakra into his body all right. His muscles were bulging and stretching his skin with every small movement he made. That probably hurts like a bitch. As he stood up, she put her hand on his shoulder and poof. They were gone. The Hokage's tower. Poof. They now stood in front of the tower as she walked to the door. Wow. That was so cool. He yelled and she stopped and looked at him. That was cool? Being almost as fast as Maito fucking Gari was just okay, but that was cool. Shaking her head she says, come on kid, we gotta talk to the Hokage now. After reaching the Hokage's office in trance she looks at the receptionist. He's still in? Yeah, he has a little bit of paperwork left. Okay, thank you. Walking up to the door she knocks. Enter. As they enter they see the Hokage writing on a piece of paper. After he was done he looked up and was surprised at what he saw. Anko-chan. What brings you here and with Naruto-kun no less? She scowled as she motioned at Naruto and spoke. Hokage-sama, this Gaki here is insane. He sighed as he heard that. What did he do, Anko? When I say he's insane, I don't mean in a completely bad way. I'm talking about in the same way Gari is. That threw him off completely. He thought Naruto had pranked her or something, but this? How do you mean? I found this Gaki in the tower. Apparently he went from class to the Eastern District for a few hours, then to the tower after 2 hours of jogging. When I found him I asked how he got there. He told me that. I didn't believe him at first, but he showed me by running back to the entrance of the Eastern District in less than an hour. She stopped to catch her breath. She saw that the Kage had his jaw hanging out and his eyes all the way open. Oh yeah, he was shocked. When I caught up to him he explained that today when Aoda explained the concept of chakra in the muscles he wanted to try it out. He put so much in that he's almost as fat as Gari with his weights on. How? The amount of pain alone would have made even me pass out. Naruto, could you explain how you didn't? They both looked at Naruto. I actually wanted to ask you about something. It was what I was really working on today. The speed thing was just a bonus. Hey G-chan, you know how people have that piece of solid chakra in their chakra core? The Kage nodded his head. That was common knowledge for most Chunin and up. Well, how big is the one you have? Well, Naruto-kun, mine is actually the size of a person's tenketsu. That is 4 times as large as most jounin. I can proudly say that I have the biggest piece of solid chakra in the village. Why do you ask, Naruto-kun, and what does it have to do with this? The boy giggles and says, wow. I can honestly say mine's bigger than a Kage's. He starts laughing at the rather perverted statement. Joking aside, G-chan, I was working on trying to make my shard bigger. Angle smirked at the first statement. The kid had to have some big balls to make that statement, about having bigger ones than the Hokage. She stopped herself from giggling at that. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? There is no way to do that outside of chakra control exercises. The Kage said with a bit of a frown. When I started earlier, my solid chakra was about the size of a grain of rice, now it's as big a marble. I guess that means I found a way. This statement made the Kage smile sadly. Poor boy, that couldn't be possible. He knew the boy wasn't lying about the initial size of his shard. He had a Hyuga in his ANBU. Take a look at the boy a few times. Having one the size of a piece of rice is amazing for his Age and control. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, but that's not possible. The boy looked hurt for a second before he frowned. Oh yeah. Then have it looked at by Torine-san. That being the Anbu that looked at his chakra before. Sighing that Hokage sends out a flare and 3 Anbu appear. Tori-san, could you please look at Naruto-kun's chakra core and tell me if anything is different than when you last checked? Hi, Hokage-same. Byakugan. It was only a few seconds before the bird-masked woman gasped. Getting up close to Naruto, she stared at a spot on his abdomen. Then surprisingly she took off her mask, surprising even the Hokage as she was one of the stricter Anbu, following the code to the letter. Hokage-sama, I don't know how, but this boy now has a solid chakra piece bigger than any I have seen. It's even twice as big as yours is. The other people in the room stared at the boy, who looked at the Kage and said, told you. Oh okay, Tori-san, you and the other 2 can leave, thank you. With that they bowed and left the same way they came. Naruto-kun, how have you managed this? Do you know what this could mean? You have basically found the answer to endless chakra. That stopped Naruto, thinking about why that would be. He remembered what Aoda said. He said that the shard gathered the chakra for you. A bigger shard means more chakra. So, if his was now bigger than the Hokage, that meant he had more chakra than him now. Infinite chakra, the ability to constantly use jutsu all the time. He knew how to acquire it. Oh man, GG. This is serious. People would go to war over less than this. Now that I know what this means, I'm not sure I should tell anyone. Does that make me a bad person? The boy looked at the Kage with wide questioning eyes. Sigh, no Naruto-kun, you're not a bad person. I'm glad that you know the consequences of this, but how do we make sure that only you know? The council would overrule any decision on this. Hell, the clans would probably pull a coup if I hid this and they found out. The old man sighed again. This was more stressing than when his own student discovered the shards in people in the first place. Yeah, too bad it's not one of those Kekai Genkai thingies, then they wouldn't be able to do anything but be jealous, the boy said with a sigh. The Kage almost laughed, but that would work. Besides, who's to say that it's not, or even if it wasn't, that they would have to know that. Though we would have to test to see if it's not, but it would be hard to find someone to trust with this information, let alone this ability. Well, why not you, Hokage-chan? Naruto said, looking at the Kage with a smile. I don't need an infinite source of chakra, it would just sit there. He was old, he didn't battle anymore. Well, unless you count battling all this damn paperwork. So it can only be someone I think won't use it for bad, right? The Kage nodded, trying to think of someone worthy of this. Why not Anko-chan? He asked with a wide smile at the woman. What? Anko throughout this conversation was quiet. She was just as shocked, if not more so, than the Hokage when it was confirmed that the boy did indeed find a way to manipulate his chakra source. But when the kid said that he would let her know the secret, she was shocked to the core. Yeah. Why not? You're nice to me even though you call me a brat, but it's kind of endearing when you say it. Also, I wouldn't have known what I had stumbled over if you hadn't have been responsible enough to take me here. Naruto was smiling at her, but it was a small smile. After he said that, the Hokage looked at Naruto with a serious look. Naruto-kun, I think Anko is a good choice, but be careful who you tell. I cannot stress that enough. That won't be a problem. The only people that will know will be my family and the 2 of you. Stated this like it was obvious. Jigaki, are you sure you want to give me this knowledge? This is bigger than anything else. Hell, the irony of this is also scary. What do you mean irony? How is this ironic? The boy asked with confusion. Ankh looked at the Kage, who nodded his consent. My sensei is a traitor. The reason he experimented on people, killed hundreds and deserted Konoha. He did all this for one purpose. What was that purpose? He wanted to become immortal. One of the other things he was trying to find out was a way to have unlimited energy, and he created this. With that, she showed him her curse mark. This is the curse mark he gave me as an experiment. The boy was silent as he stared at her with a blank expression. Yep, that turned his attitude around, she thought. He would find someone that was worthy of this gift, but maybe he would let her be his friend at least. Anko-chan? She looked at him. If I ever meet that Hebeteam, I'll grill em. That settles it, you're definitely getting this now. He declared all that with a wide grin. She was surprised again, this kid. Are you sure? Yes, yes. Okay, so first things first, concentrate on your chakra. With that, she sat down, closed her eyes, and started following his instructions. Find your chakra core and get as far in as you can. Kid, how do I find my core when I can't focus from all the chakra around it? Oh right, I'll tell you step by step how I did it then. Take all the chakra that you find along the way and push it into or out of your body. You'll get tired, but don't stop. You'll know when you are in your core when the power hits you and you feel refreshed. 10 minutes later, she sighs as she feels refreshed and revitalized. Before she can say anything though, he speaks up. Great, you found it. Okay, now push a slow, but constant amount of chakra out of your core and into your system. She twitched for a second and got a confused look of her face. Feel those waves? She nodded. Find the source of it. A minute later, she let out a small gasp. The power of solid chakra was amazing to witness. That would be it, not stop flowing chakra out and make a very slow and small amount stream to the piece. There will be a push, but continue on and the push will fade. She felt it, her reserves were going up faster every minute she streamed the chakra to this fragment. It was a little bigger than before too. It's been about 15 minutes, so slowly speed up the stream of chakra, not too fast or the push will reject the chakra right out. After another 10 minutes he tells her to stop. Why Gaki? Well, we gotta get it checked out. Hokage GG, I trust Torii-san to know that I know. In fact, it would be best if she was the one to check whenever something like this happens. Is that okay with you? The boy had been unusually serious, but with the situation that wasn't surprising. I agree, that is a very wise decision, Naruto. I am proud at how you are dealing with this. With that, he formed a seal again and the same 3 from earlier appeared. Tori-san, you stay. Nezumi-san, rat, please let my secretary know that I will be busy for a while. Also, if you and Uo-san, fish, would guard the door, I will be sealing the room. The 2 Anbu left and Tori stayed. Tori-san, I have a permanent assignment for you. She gasped. A permanent assignment was either A or higher ranked missions that can take a very long time to finish. They were called permanent because they often didn't end in the nin's lifetime. The pay was annual and constant, usually on a weekly or monthly scale. This was an honor of the highest caliber and was what most nin wanted to obtain, considering they were more often than not very easy to do. Hi and arigato, Hokage-sama, for this opportunity. What is my mission? She asked, kind of confused that he was going to tell her in front of the other 2 in the room, but he was the Hokage, she would not question his decisions. This will be a mission of the highest order, an N-class. N-class meaning non-class A mission, completely off the books, and the Kage would only know that it was completed and none of the details. This was the only thing higher that a triple S-class mission. N-class type of missions are also ones that if known will cause either a coup, a war, or mass destruction. High. A permanent N-class? What was it that was so horridly dangerous that it would come to this? Just know that the only reason you are getting this is because the client trusts you. That confused her. Hokage-sama, who is my client? That'd be me, Torine-san. Naruto was now standing next to her with a look she had never seen on his face. His eyes were focused on hers, his mouth not a smile but a slight frown, and his arms straight down by his sides. Naruto-kun? What? Hokage-sama, what's going on? She looked at her leader with confusion and a little bit of panic, though nobody could tell through the mask. Earlier I had you look at Naruto and you found solid chakra had grown to an insurmountable size. She nodded. The reason for this is also the reason you have this mission. Let me ask, besides immortality or infinite money, what would any nin wish to have? That was an odd question. There was a lot of answers, but one that all nin would want? Well, that would have to be an infinite chakra source. That is correct. Today AODA, your own team's healer, went to the academy and gave a speech about the chakra system and the solid chakra piece carried in each of us. She nodded again, still confused. After class ended, a student decided that he was going to try something that he thought on a whim, just to see if it would work. He succeeded and he didn't even know exactly what it meant until he came here. Would you like to know what he did? Hi. Hokage-sama. He created an extremely easy process to increase the size of his solid chakra 100-fold if he wished. She gasped and her eyes went from him to Naruto, who stood there looking at her. Naruto. She gasped out, staring at the boy with awe. That's right, Nei-san. Can I tell her the mission, Hokage GG? He asked. The old man nodded his head. Okay, we wanted to know if the process would work the same for everyone. So, I picked someone I trusted and she did the process a little while ago. We want you to be the person that keeps watch over our solid chakra and document it. The boy was scary when he was serious, she noted. I take it that Anko-san is the one you gave this process to? She asked. At his nod she looked at Anko. I am to check if the process worked, right? Anko nodded her head. Byakugan. Looking at Anko's core she noticed that it was almost the same size as the Hokage's. It worked. You are to give them a checkup every month. You will get a weekly pay equal to that of an A-rank mission. Document any and everything you can notice and give them to Naruto or myself if he is not around. You are also allowed to tell Hayashi-san that you are a permanent N-rank that deals with Naruto, but cannot disclose more than that. This information is too dangerous to let even him know. If he has a problem with this, then he can come to me. Also, you can introduce yourself to Naruto and Anko. She bowed to the Hokage and turned to the other two, taking off the mask for a second time. Anko-san, Naruto-kun, my name's Samai Hyuga. I am a main branch member. She looked like just about every other Hyuga, long brown hair, pale pupil-less eyes, but she had a smile on her face. It's great to finally know your name, Nei-san. Naruto exclaimed with a wide smile. Nice to meet you, Samai-san. Anko said with a smile as well. I gotta say, May Day started out horrible, but this is turning into the best night of my life. Hard to believe it's not ending up with me in bed with a guy. She said with a laugh. In his life Hiruzen Sarutobi never, though he would know the secret to endless chakra. With a small chuckle he turned to the three. Well, this night is going to be a little longer. We will have to tell the council something. Naruto said something that gave me a great idea. This. They looked at him questioningly and he lets them have it. Since this is a secret that has to get out, nobody needs to know that Naruto isn't the only one that can have endless chakra. We will tell them that it is a KK Genkei. Smart move GG, we should also do it tonight, make them drag their butts back to work and let them have a whopper of a shock. Naruto says as he starts giggling. Sarutobi laughs at the though and decides to pull a little prank on the council, make him do paperwork at 9 o'clock while they are home. Oh, this is payback. Forming a hand seal, the two Anbu from earlier appear in front of him. Gather the council, we have much to discuss. Hokage-sama, why did you gather the council at midnight? What was so important? Koharu, his old teammate, asked. She was a little agitated. The other people in the room nodding their heads to this, some looked rather tired. Something important happened earlier today, I was just briefed on it less than an hour ago. This was too important to wait. Everyone leaned in to listen to something this important. It appears that a young student has unlocked a previously unheard of Kekai Genkai that allows them to have complete control over something more than any mix of the elements. What is it, Hokage-sama? One of the civilian council members asked. This student unlocked the ability to change the mass of his solid chakra to any size he wants. Gasps were heard from all of the ninja council and some of the civilian council as well. This means the boy has the ability of infinite chakra and control. Who is this boy? Hayashi Hyuga asked. I'm pretty sure most of the people on this council will not like the answer to that question. Sarutabi answered. Himura, his other old teammate, spoke up. Was it that boy Rock Lee? I heard he couldn't use chakra for some reason or another. This could explain why. No, the boy is a year younger. The old Koge stated. Could you please tell us, Hokage-sama? I need to get back home. My wife and I were in the middle of something much less troublesome than this. Shikaku Nora asked. He had lipstick on the side of his face and neck. Strange considering he usually find his wife troublesome. The boy was none other than Uzumaki Naruto. I also have a member of your own clan confirm his ability, Hayashi-san. Getting a nod from the clan head. That was all he needed. He trusted the members of his clan for something like that. He also didn't really have a problem with the boy in question. Hokage-sama, how do we know that this doesn't have anything to do with the you-know-what? Asked Koharu. Sarutabi glared at her as he spoke. I had that checked by a member of Hayashi-san's main branch. It was his chakra and his chakra alone. That has nothing to do with this anyways. What would you have us do about this situation, Hokage-sama? Shibi Aburame asked, his monotone voice reaching across the room. The same we would do for any other person unlocking a new bloodline. He will have to be instated as a clan. Most of the council in the room agreed with this. It was law, even if they didn't like it. That means that he will need to give it a name and instate himself with a new last name. Uzumaki being an orphan name along with Rock, Higurashi, Kai, etc. Shibi stated while staring at the Koge. Yes, that too was true, but it didn't have to happen until his clan was established, that being when Naruto finished the paperwork for it. Excuse me, Hokage-sama. Can you have the boy give us an example of his ability? I will reaffirm that it is true to the rest of the council that still do not quite believe. Hayashi said, glancing in the direction of the civilian council. Very well. I was going to have him do it anyway. Naruto, you can enter now. Sarutabi said, the look to the door as two people walked in, Naruto and an Anbu. Okay Naruto, we need for you to increase the size of your solid chakra as Hayashi-san watches. With that Naruto sits down and focuses on his chakra. Going to his shard was much easier than the first time, he now knew exactly where it was. Focusing on the shard he started to stream chakra into it. Hayashi stared for a second then gasped as he watched the marble grow to the size of a golf ball. This took about 10 minutes. Does that work for you Hayashi-san? Naruto asked the white-eyed man. That was a very unique sight to see Naruto-san. Thank you. The man said with the amazement apparent in his voice. Hayashi-san, how big was it? The average for a chunin is a grain of rice. The head of medical asked. When he started it was the size of a marble, now it is the size of a golf ball. The clan head said with finality in his voice. Gasps were heard at this. This was massive. If you took the shards of everyone in the room it still would be the same size as this boy's. How about now Hayashi-san? The voice was heard in the silent room. Everyone looked at the boy who spoke. I'm trying to increase it again, only as fast as I can, kinda getting lost in the feeling. I think I'm making it bigger than my chakra core. This caused even more gasps. Hayashi activated his bloodline and shouted as he jumped up, What? He just stared, jaw hanging, and he was shaking. This man that was so in control of himself and his emotions, he was so shocked that he was shaking. Hayashi-san, are you alright? What is it? Choza Akamichi asked, startled at what the man did. His chakra is solidifying outwards, it's all turning into solid chakra. All of it. The Hyuga said as he started to sweat slightly. This was amazing and beautiful to his eyes. Almost, whoa, that was a funny feeling. Naruto was talking to himself as he focused. Done. All of the chakra in my circulatory system in now solid. He said with a grin. Man. I feel great. Kamisama. Hayashi was still staring at Naruto. DD-san, could you do a quick scan of his living tissue and tell me what it tells you? The head of medical looked at Hayashi for a second. Okay, do you mind, Naruto-san? The boy shook his head and did a scan technique and waited for the results. What the hell? Now everyone turned to him. His living tissue isn't changing. At all. None of it is deteriorating in any way, in fact it's healing. He looked around at the confused stares. He's not aging. This caused everyone, including the Hokage, to gasp. Not just infinite energy, but eternal life? Uzumaki Dono, literally meaning Mr. or Mister, what are you going to call this ability of yours? It does need a name. The Aburane clan head said to the boy, who put a finger to his chin, thinking. Just a second, I wanna check something. He put his hand in front of him, staring at the palm for about a minute. Everyone heard the Anbu gasp. She was also staring at his open hand. I believe I will be calling this my Keshu Chikara, no. Kurasutaru no Keshu Kaikara. The judgment of the crystal force. Showing what was in his hand, they gasped. It was a gavel made of solid chakra. 3 months later. Are you sure Naruto-kun? Sarutobi Hiruzen was looking, and the paperwork Naruto finished today. The papers were for the change of his last name, and his choice was interesting, but fitting for his abilities. Yes, Ji-san, I couldn't think of an actual name, so I went with something like the people in Suna do. He was referring to the fact that most people in Suna, not part of a clan, used a title name that would be passed down. The Kage's youngest had taken on one as well, Sabaku no Gara. Gara of the desert. Well, it is your choice. Saibansho no Naruto. Naruto of the court. You always were a great judge of character, so you shall judge and sentence you enemies as well. That is when you graduate. The old man stated, you know, the other kids are going to be surprised, so will Iruka-san when he reads the student list in class. I went through a few lengths so you could see the look on his face. He said with a smile and a chuckle. Ha, this will be great. I just hope Shino's bugs don't swarm me like Shibi-san's did in the council chambers. That was creepy. Naruto said as they reached their target, the academy. Naruto, now the head of a new clan, was given an area of land that had a house on it. It was his luck that the one the Hokage decided to give to him was right next to the Eastern District of Training Area 44, his very one stomping grounds. Apparently nobody wanted the house because of said district being right next door. Boy, was he lucky. He also decided to change his look for the presents he wanted to give to people. While he loved orange, he knew he had to be serious as a new clan head or face the consequences. He wore a mesh shirt under an open long black overcoat with white trim and many internal pockets. The right sleeve was gone though, leaving his arm free. The left sleeve was wide brimmed. On the back was the symbol of the leaf, but it had a gavel and a kunai crossing over it in an X. He wore Anbu issue pants of the Ninsoku, carrier, variety, so it had a lot of pockets and areas to place scrolls and such. He had on a pair of black tabi and pure white sandals. His hair was still that sun-kissed blonde, but had a kind of blue tint to it. His face had a white patch on each side to cover his whiskers. When he used his ability they glowed blue for some reason. The patches cover them for stealth as well as making him look good. The most interesting thing he wore was the complete crystal band around the third finger, between his middle and pinky finger. It had no metal at all, it was a lighter tint than an aquamarine, both stone and color. Okay Naruto, good luck and have fun. Yeah, I know you'll be watching through that ball of yours. Either me or the hot springs. Naruto said with a smirk at the old man, who just looked away and chuckled. Parting ways, Naruto was surprised at what he accomplished in 3 months' time. When he was signed as a new clan, he got a fund to help start it up and one jutsu of the Hokage's choice. However, the old man let Naruto choose a jutsu out of the sacred scroll. He decided that he would try the Koge Bunshin. He read on the scroll that it gave you the knowledge it got back to you. He remembered asking the old man why he didn't use them and the old replied that he did because he was an idiot. He still laughs at that. Silly old man. Entering the classroom, he noticed only a few kids were there. Walking up the rows, he sits down and leans forward. Hey Shino, don't worry about them. It's alright if they pick at my chakra. The other boy stiffens, then relaxed and nodded his head. He had heard from his father that it would be harder to control them around Naruto for some reason that he would only find out today. At least he doesn't mind the Kikaichu, unlike a lot of other. After that, Naruto leans back and concentrates on his chakra and then creating a small cube in his hand. He leans forward again and taps Shino's shoulder. The boy turned slightly and stared at him. Naruto held out his hand as if to drop something. Holding his own hand out, Naruto dropped the chakra cube in it, then leaned back again. Shino turned around staring at the cube, wondering what it was. Then he noticed a hole open up on his hand and his Kikaichu crawl to the cube and start draining it. This is made out of solid chakra. Turning around, he stared at Naruto, who was smiling. Thank you. No problem, Shino. You look bored, thought I'd entertain. Naruto told the other boy. It is an interesting and startling ability, Uzumaki-san. Shino said in honesty. Meh, I know. Also, it's not Uzumaki anymore. At the raised eyebrow on Shino's face, he smiled and said, just wait, it will be explained in a little bit. Shino nodded and turned around. After waiting about 10 minutes, the only one not there was the teachers. Some of the people looked at Naruto, but because of the new look and patches on his face, most thought he was a new kid. The Naruto they knew was loud and wore orange. This guy was meditating and wore dark colors. He was also very muscular, making some girls blush seeing his toned chest only covered in mesh and the muscle on his bare right arm. I wonder where that goofball Naruto went? He heard that from one of the girls, his former crush, Haruno Sakura. I kinda hope he's just late. He might have been annoying me all the time, but he was a nice guy. That was her friend, rival Yamanaka Aino. Heh, the clown probably pulled a prank and got busted. Inuzuka Kiba, though for some reason I kinda smell him nearby. Kiba said that and looked around, eyes passing over him. Troublesome. Noro Shikimaru probably already knows too. His best friend Akamichi Chuji munching happily on a bag of chips next to him. He looks around at the other kids he knows. Ucha Sasuke was sitting across the room and Hyuga Hinata was sitting next to Naruto. A lot of the other kids he didn't really know. She had a small blush and she was looking everywhere but at him. She knew. Hey Hinata-chan, how have you been? She squeaked in and replied, I've been good, en Naruto-kun. Did your father tell you? She nodded her head and he smiled. Well, then you're the first to know, lucky you. She blushed deeper and nodded, a small smile on her face. Ka thunk. The door to the class opened and the two teachers came in, Yumino Iruka and Tuji Mizuki. Iruka cleared his voice and took out a scroll from his pocket. All right class, welcome back to your final year at the academy. Now normally we would jump right in, but I was told to read this to you all by the Hokage-sama. It is about a situation that came up over the break. No, you all are the first to hear this. This is also the first I will be hearing of this, so give me a second. After he opened the scroll, he looked up to make sure they were paying attention. This is a notice. A citizen of Konohagakure unlocked a new bloodline as of 3 months ago. He was established as clan head and as of this morning gave a name to his new clan. This is a warning. The bloodline is as of now considered a triple S rank bloodline, the newest of a total of 3, the other 2 consisting of the Rinnegan and Zenchiksu, Omen. This means that any attempted bloodline theft will be dealt with the harshest penalty. The clan is known as the Hitobito no Saibansho, people of the court, and we leave the new head of the clan to explain the bloodline and abilities. Please direct your attention to Saibansho no Naruto. Signed. Saruto Hiruzen, Sandaime Hokage. Council heads, Himura and Koharu Senmai. After finishing, Iruka was wide-eyed as he looked up seeing Naruto coming to the front of the class. Thank you Iruka-sensei, if you want me to I can explain now or after the shock wears off. Naruto said with a smirk on his face. Na Naruto, what is the abilities of your clan? Iruka stuttered out. Well, the main ability which starts the process in my bloodline is the ability to control my solid chakra. That got a few confused looks. How does that help? That doesn't sound impressive at all. Kiba yelled out, some others agreeing. Well, Kiba-san. I would say that being able to control it is the greatest thing ever. I control everything about it. Its place, its shape, its size. That got a reaction. What do you mean its size? Well, I mean that if I wanted to, my entire chakra core could become a big ball of solid chakra. That got gasps from every student that knew what it meant. Remember what Aoda-sensei said last year? The bigger your solid chakra, the more control over your chakra you have and the more chakra you have to use. A Chunin's solid chakra is usually half the size of a grain of rice. The Hokuto's is half the size of a marble. Mine, at the moment, is the size of a gold ball, or 4 marbles, 8 times the Hokuto's. Everyone was now staring at him in shock, even the Ucha was. That isn't even the best ability of mine. Please explain, Saibansho-san. Shino's voice came across the room. Okay, Shino. With the ability to control the mass of my solid chakra comes the ability to instantly refresh my reserves anytime I want to. That caused a few people to yell out or gasp again. When my chakra core is completely solid, I gain control of one other ability that I still find more amazing than infinite chakra. What is that ability? Well, it will look strange, but what I am going to do is pump an extreme amount of solid chakra through my body. I only recently found I could do this, recently being less than 4 days ago. I will look like a glowing crystal mannequin for a second. Without a second's wait, a glow came out of Naruto and his whole solidified and became clear, then it started shrinking. When it stopped, Naruto stood there, but it wasn't the same Naruto, it was a 6-year-old Naruto, the clothes not falling because he held onto the pants. I can control my age. Man, should have made myself older, at least my pants wouldn't try falling off then. Everyone was staring dumbfounded at the, now, little boy. One kid in the class passed out. Just a sec, everyone. With that he reversed the process and became his 11-year-old self. Love my natural age. Believe me when I say I am not looking forward to 16, old people are right, puberty sucks. Anyone want to know any of the other abilities, or do you all think that what you can handle right now? What else can you do? Ino asked in awe. Well, I can create a fog around me that nullifies all chakra inside of it, meaning I can be immune to ninjutsu and genjutsu if I wanted to. By condensing my chakra to a certain point, I can flood my muscles with liquid chakra. I can keep up with Mitogari in a spa without his weights. He said that last part to his teachers, all the color drained from Mizuki's face. I can chakra constructs outside of my body, meaning I can make weapons from solid chakra. I have a dojutsu with this that allows me to see people's chakra core and tenketsu, but not the entire network like the Hyuga. When my dojutsu is active, I am completely immune to all forms of illusion, demonic or otherwise. It also lets me see chakra in the environment, like the Sharingan. That got Sasuke's attention, big time. Though I don't have the perfect memorization you would have, Sasuke-san. Though I do have one thing that no dojutsu has, complete control of brain speed. This means that I see things as fast as I want to see. I can make my brain work 200 or 300 times any other humans can at any time, but that really boring after a time. Believe me, making 5 1 second last 3 days is not fun. That too caught Sasuke's attention. Wonder what that's about? I have a few other abilities, but that's all I want to. Actually no, hey Sasuke, come here, you're going to help me demonstrate this last ability. Sasuke raised an eyebrow, shrugged, and stood up. Who do you hate the most in the world, that you wish you could kill and be done with? Surprised by the question, he thought about not telling Naruto, but though what the hell? His name is Itachi, he was my brother and he is the reason I am the last. Itachi? Does he look like this? Naruto does a henge. Yes. Rage was all he saw. Naruto walked up to Sasuke, taking out a crystal sword from nowhere. He pushed it into Sasuke's hand. Kill me. Kill me so you can kill your hate. And before anyone could say anything. Before Iruka could yell for them to stop, Sasuke struck. The sword pierced the stomach and tore through the side, blood flying everywhere in his rage. Good job. Little brother. The Itachi lookalike fell over bleeding out and Sasuke looked at what he did in shock. In his rage he killed Naruto. Sasuke, what have you done? I need to call a medic. Iruka started to run to the door. No need, Iruka-sensei, I am completely fine. He turned around to see Naruto standing there with gash hole cutting open half his abdomen. Naruto, we need to get you to the hospital quick. No, this is part of the demonstration. Watch. With that they watched as a crystalline liquid start coming out. There was no blood. The blood from earlier had turned into that clear blue liquid. They all watched in morbid fascination as the wound close in under 5 seconds and nothing but perfect skin being left in place of the gash. When I push the liquid chakra through my body, it mixes with my blood. All wounds I acquire will heal as fast as I want to and I will only feel the pain that I wish to. In fact, taking out a kunai he proceeded to stab himself in the face and head multiple times while the wounds healed at the same time the weapon left. It was pretty funny seeing the look on the Hokage's face when I did that in front of him. Kinda like some of yours, though his face wasn't green, just pale. He said with a grin. I never thought I'd see a sane man smile and stab himself in the face at the same time. This came from Sasuke, who now got over the shock of Naruto being okay. Ha, yeah. So Sasuke, feel better not that you did it, even if it wasn't the real deal? Was it good for you? Wiggling his eyebrows at the Acha, I spend too much time with Anko. Nah, no such thing. The Acha then did something that surprised even Naruto, he burst out laughing. After he was done he turned to Naruto, yeah it was, Naruto. And if I ever hear a gay joke about I'll torture the person who said it. With that he sat back down in his desk, a smile on his face. Okay, everybody, show's over. That's all folks. Naruto smiles at the class and walks back to his desk. Graduation exam day. Naruto sat in his desk with a sigh, having finished the paper test of the exam little bit ago. The year had gone fast, even with him train himself and Anko and going to the council meetings once a week. He was definitely ready for the Genin exams. Hell, he could do the Genin, Chunin, and Jounin exams then go spar Gari for the rest of the week and he would still pass them all. Okay everyone, pencils down. Head outside with Mizuki and I'll grade your papers. He will test your taijutsu and kenjutsu if you have it. After that it'll be off to the throwing range and then back here for the ninjutsu portion. Remember to try your best. Except you Naruto, don't kill Mizuki, please. As the student left, Naruto stopped Mizuki for a second. Hey Mizuki-sensei. What? He asked annoyed. I met your girlfriend the other day when I was talking with the Hokage. Hearing that, the man stiffened. Odd. What about her? His voice was quiet and tight. She said you two have been dating for a long time. I have a question for you. What is it? When the hell are you gonna pop the question? Naruto yelled at the man, who wasn't expecting that type of question. Dude, she adores you. And I've noticed that when you talk about family your eyes get soft and you get a faraway look. You obviously love the girl. So seal the damn deal already, will ya? Naruto says, smiling widely at the Chunin. Sigh, I couldn't Naruto. I don't have the money to buy a ring and a wedding on top of it. If I could get a ring, then I would pay for the wedding that I've been saving for her. As he said this his eyes were soft and his tone was sad. Hey Mizuki, can I show you something? What? Give me your hand for a second. The Chunin looked confused but complied. This will feel kinda funny. What do Yoek? He felt a pang somewhere in his stomach. After a few seconds it stopped. Look in your hand. Naruto said to the man. Mizuki looked and stared at what he saw. It looked like the perfect cut diamond. It was slightly tinted blue, but it was perfect. What? What is it? He asked. That Mizuki is a piece of you. I used a lot of energy to it, but I made your piece of solid chakra grow. Even after taking that chunk off, it's still twice the size it used to be. Take that as my wedding gift, ne? With that Naruto walked off to the rest of the class. Mizuki stood there staring at the jewel. He can't be the damn demon. A demon would never give power to anyone for free. I was fucking wrong about you and I am sorry, Naruto, and thank you. I will repay this kindness, one day. Walking to the field, he put the jewel in a case in his pouch. A little later. Okay everyone, that's all for taijutsu. Naruto, that punch hurt like hell, good hook. Any one of you that wants to try for kenjutsu? Okay then, just Naruto then? Naruto, this is Genma, he's one of the top kenjutsu users of the village. Good luck. Meet us in the target practice room when you two are done. Genma looked at Naruto. What type of weapon are you using? Smiling, Naruto forms a gavel in his hand. Hammers? No, this is a gavel. Right. Well, try to hit me with it as best you can. You sure you want me to do that? Sure kid, I'm a jounin, I'm pretty fast. You do know I'm the only person that can spar with Guy without his weights, right? After he said this, Genma paled. Right, sorry, didn't know you were that kid. Okay then, just show me your moves. 5 minutes later. Wow kid, I'd say you're on par with most high chunin, maybe even jounin with that gavel of yours. Okay, pass obviously. Go on with your class. Thanks. Hurrying up to where his class was, he made it in time for his name, Saibansho no Naruto. Right here. Okay then, try to hit the targets with kunai, shuriken, the thrown weapon of your choice. Hitting non-moving targets was a piece of cake. His thrown weapon of choice was the senbon. He hit 13 out of 15 with them. After they moved back to the class, Naruto decided to rest until his name was called. It's almost been a year since he discovered the two most sought-after secrets. It was hard, keeping the process a secret. He also remembered the few days after discovering them. So simple, the process was, so simple, and dangerous. A few days after he got his house, he asked Anko to move in with him. She agreed, but only if she could bring her friend around sometimes. That wasn't a problem at all. Kurenai was a wonderful woman and a great friend to Anko, though he still likes to tease her about the time she walked into his bathroom while he was relaxing in the tub. He had fallen asleep and she didn't notice until she was already naked and in the tub. He had woken up, looked her in the face, got up, wrapped a towel around his waist and left the bathroom. Only to pass out afterwards. Good times. He trains a lot and loved to figure out how to use his chakra in new ways, but it's hard trying to figure everything out on your own. I can't wait to get on a team. Yo, Naruto. Your turn. Getting up, he walked into the room. First is the henge. Poof. He henged into Anko, complete with dango. Prank time. Hey, what the hell am I doing here? God damn it, Naruto. Oh Kami, I'm sorry Anko-chan, he was supposed to do a henge, not kawarimi. Iruka exclaimed. Poof, Anko-chan, okay, I see how it is, he blackmail Iruka. Blackmail? Sai, just do a kawarimi. Poof, and he switched with Mizuki, sorry for not warning YA. Finally, bunshin. Any kind will do. Poof, 25 Narutos were standing in front of him. What kind? Koge. Right, of course. Any jutsu you wanna throw in? It's for extra point if you want. Sure, here's one I made, Jiksu Fuku no Jutsu. Duplication technique. Instead of a poof of smoke, a mist swept from Naruto to a few feet to his left. A perfect copy of him was standing there. Is it like the Koge bunshin? Better, it gives a live feed to my memory bank. On top of that, it doesn't disappear after 1 or 2 hits, it doesn't disappear until it gets a fatal wound or I dispel it. The only problem it has is that it cannot speak. This great Naruto. You should show that to the Hokage. Here's you headband, take care of it. Tagging the headband, he ties it around his left sleeve. Thanks guy. After the rest of the class finished up, Iruka told them they could go and to come back in a few weeks for the team pairings. So begins their lives as ninja. Okay, class. Today we will be giving you your teams. Remember, you are not the only graduating class, so don't be surprised if some of you don't know your new teammates. This had a few people frowning, but hey, they pretty much expected this. Okay, everyone ready then? Good. Okay. So it went. Naruto ignored the team forming. He already knows that he's going to be on a team from another class. He was at the council meeting to finalize the each group's making. It was pretty smart. The major teams were just as well. Team 7 would be Ucha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, and a girl from another class, Rika Kinsen, a smart girl from what he heard. That means Team 7 was a tactics and intelligence team. They had an ex-Anbu as their sensei. Team 8 was Inazuka Kiba, Hyuga Hinata, and Shino Aburame. A track and carry team. For some reason, it was decided that Yuhi Kurenai, the Genjutsu mistress. Team 9 was still in circulation, or rather they haven't officially changed their team name. Unofficially, that was Team Gari. Team 10 was Yamanoka Aino, Akamichi Chuji, and Noro Shikimaru. A capture and interrogate team. They had Sarutobi Asuma, a tactics and assassination specialist. Teams 11 and 12 were from another class and he didn't know them or their senseis. Team 13, Saibansho no Naruto, Inare Hikaku, and Goran Matashitamo will be under the T&I division. So you should report there, Naruto. Go ahead. Wait, sensei, why are they under a whole division? Shouldn't they be under a sensei? Sakura asked from a few seats down. Surprisingly, it was Mizuki that answered. T&I is the torture and interrogation division. When a team is chosen for a specialty field, like assassination or interrogation, it is because they went in and filled out some paperwork. If it decided that they may work well, they take a test at the division building that they wish to be a part of. Naruto did this 2 months ago. The other two on his team also did this at one point or were chosen based off of their skill. Sasuke, I heard you almost pass a test for the Hunter division, just need to get a little faster. T&I and the Hunter division are two of the hardest divisions to get into. This is because you need mid to high Chunin level skills. Naruto is high Jounin in skill, so it's not a surprise that he got in. Heck, the only thing he needs is to gain experience. The nod from Iruka at that last one made Naruto smile, happy that they aren't underestimating him. Sakura looked surprised, but didn't say anything after that. Standing up, Naruto walked to the door but stopped when Mizuki called out to him. Yo Naruto. Thanks for the you-know-what, I did it last night. She said yes, you're invited. We'll let you know when we plan on starting. Turning around, Naruto smiling and says, congrats. I hope you two have fun. And runs out the door only to stop seeing two people at the end of the hall heading outside. So, you ever heard of this guy? A boy with short black hair, tan skin, and strangely pink eyes asked. He was really tall for his age and had a gi and hakama on with regular brown sandals. He looked kind of like a samurai, but he had a white patch over his right eye. He wasn't tall, but he wasn't short either. He had a gauntlet on his right arm and a metal bracer in the left. He had 4 swords on him, 2 across his back forming an X and 1 on each hip. His hiatate over his forehead. Yes, he's the head of the new clan they announced at the beginning of the year. He's supposedly really strong, stealthy, and smart. All I know is that he trains in the Forest of Death for fun. A girl with long dark red hair and light brown skin. Her eyes were strange to describe. The sclera of her eyes were not the usual white, but a pure black with blood red iris. She wore a grey tunic and black shinobi pants, black shinobi sandals on her feet. She didn't seem to have any weapons of her. Her hiatate was tied to her upper left arm. I just hope this Naruto guy's not a prick. The boy said with a frown. Well, I hope I'm not, 'cause then I'd have to kick my own ass. Naruto said with a grin, standing a few feet away. They both jump a little and turn towards him. Saibansho no Naruto at your service. He said with a smile. Inare Hikaku. This is Goran Matashitamo, the girl said. Well Inare-san, Goran-san. We should go see our new teachers, shouldn't we? He said that with a wide smile on his face, his eyes close. We actually don't know where the T&I building is. We were going to go to the tower and find out. The boy, Goran, said, still frowning. Ah. You're in luck then. I know exactly where it is, one of my best friends works there, so come on. With that he passes them by at a fast pace. The other two look at each other and then chase after him. T&I building. Ah. Here we go. Naruto exclaimed as he stopped next to said building. This building looks really old. Is this the T&I building? Goran asked, still frowning. Why, yes it is. Isn't it beautifully decrepit? Ah, don't worry about any screams you hear, that's just the sound of our nin getting vital information out of tight-lipped assholes. The blonde said this as a scream pierced the air. That was creepy, Naruto-san. Inare said. That was actually a valid warning. Hey, you will be hearing screams of people throughout the day. You may even get to see an interrogation. After that he walked into the building. They had no choice but to follow. Goj-san, how's work? The blonde boy said to a man standing inside the entrance. Meh, same as yesterday when you asked, boring and stressful. The man was wearing Anbu gear, but no mask. Still trying to get gate duty? Yeah, those two bastards are lucky as hell that they have been able to get it all year. Huh. Yeah, anyway gotta go see Anko-chan and Ibika Manuk. Goof or blockhead? Only you, Naruto, only you. The man said, chuckling. As they made it through the building he introduced them to some of the people there. The two were shocked at what he knew about the place. Ah, here we are, the interrogation cells. See that window? That's where they interrogate people and it is currently occupied by the head interrogators Mitarashi Anko and Marino Ibiki. You may not want to look at the guy they are working on though. A few seconds later the purple-hair woman noticed them and smirked. She said something to the man and walks out of the room. As she opened the door they could hear a painful shriek piercing the air from the man they were working on. They couldn't hear it after the door was closed though. Hey Gaki. I take it this is our newest recruits. The woman was smiling to Naruto as if there wasn't a man being horribly disfigured in the next room. Yep, these two are yours and Ibiki's new chew toys. Could you try not to scar them physically? Naruto said with an evil smiling. Now if the two new students were nervous they didn't let it show. No promises, but you're right, we don't want another Ibiki. She said laughing and the end. Now Anko, that's rude. You'll hurt my feelings if you continue making fun of me. This was said by the man as he stepped out of the door. There was no more screams from the room behind him. Oh come on. You know you have no feelings Ibiki. The reply made the man laugh for a second and then looked at Inare and Goran. My name is Marino Ibiki, I am the head of T&I and you two will be learning the ropes from me and Anko here. There are no missions below C rank with this division, so we'll have to toughen you up before we let you work outside the building. The reason you two were chosen to work under us is because you both have the makings of great interrogators. Matashitamo-san, you showed your abilities when you captured, tortured, and interrogated a group of Chunin from Mist because they assassinated your family. Hikaku-san, you showed your abilities when you were found. We still don't know how you were able to get that Jounin while he was asleep in a camp full of other Jounin and keep him under while you set up that room. Thanks for not killing him though. We will put you two through the ropes and then build you up. This will be no piece of cake, but when everything is done, you will be able to get information from anyone of any rank. And so it went. Ibiki and Anko trained the two. Naruto had already been through all this thanks to his duplication jutsu. The days passed to weeks and eventually 3 months had passed. The Chunin exams was a week away and they were already told that they were taking it. The team had become close friends in those few months. They had taken a lot of interrogation missions too. These were missions that have you interrogate a person for certain information. They have taken 23 C rank, 14 B rank, and 3 A rank T&I missions. They had gained a reputation of being able to break people easily. Even Ibiki was impressed, though he wouldn't admit it. As it turns out, both of his teammates weren't from Konoha originally. Goran was actually born in the Land of Water, near Kumo. His family had a bloodline were killed off for it during the Blood War that only ended a few years ago. He usually hid the features of his bloodline because a lot of people found it creepy. His bloodline gave him a set of extra arms and always hid them in his GI. He found that he could grow more pairs of arms, but it was a hassle to work with more. They did, however, complemented his self-made Kenjutsu style, the gift of the Hecaton Chairs. 1. He was found by an Anbu unit that detected a disturbance when they were passing by. The boy had 8 Chunin screaming and had already tortured and killed 4 others. When he was done, they offered asylum in Konoha if he wanted and he agreed. He ended up staying with an Anbu named Hayate, who is apparently one of the world's best swordsmen. Sadly, however, he contracted a disease that has caused his muscles to atrophy. Inare was originally from Rice Country. She didn't come from a known clan, though it was obvious that she had a bloodline dojutsu. She didn't know much about her mother or father, but she did know about her sister. Her sister had been out one day and didn't come back. She found out that a nin had taken her and she found as much information about the nin as she could, and as it turns out her sister was taken by none other than Orochimaru. At the time, she didn't know he had defected from Konoha long before that. She ended up following a team of Jounin and plucked one out when he was asleep. The only reason they found her was because they could hear his screams. When they got there he was alive, his fingers were literally tied and he didn't have a single wound on him, but she did have knife to his neck. When she found out that Orochimaru had went rouge years before, she let the guy go and explained her situation. They brought her back to Konoha and it was only thanks to the Jounin she captured that she wasn't in prison. Now she lives with said Jounin. His name is Genma. He was the guy that tested Naruto's Kenjutsu, and ironically, he and Hayate were best friends. With his help she had found out one of her dojutsu's abilities. It allows her to plant thoughts in people's head by looking at them, no eye contact needed. It's a great ability, but the drawback is the amount of chakra needed, and that if the person has more chakra than her then it won't work, and sadly she doesn't have great reserves either. He spent more time with her because Goran was constantly training. The Hokage also told Naruto about the Kyuubi. That actually went well. Naruto didn't care that there was a being of pure chakra inside him, though he now understands why people weren't all that friendly to him. He also laughed because when he thought about it, while he wasn't the Kyuubi, they did have one similarity: he too was a tangible form of pure chakra. When he said that to the old Kage, they both laughed at the thought of a human matching, and possible surpassing, the energy of such a being. Naruto, wanting to meet the furball, asked Sarutobi if there was a way to meet it. So, he had a meeting with the Sannin Jiraiya, who was a seal master, to help him achieve it. If all goes as planned, Naruto will gain a great weapon in the future. Hokage Tower. So this is the kid? Jiraiya asked. Jiraiya was a tall man with large, spiky, white hair and a red and green kabuki outfit. He had a large scroll on his back and a hiatate on his heat with the kanji 4 oil in the center and a little horn on each side. Naruto and Jiraiya were in front of the Hokage. Naruto had been summoned from training to meet the man and, possibly, meet the fox. Yes, this is him and I'll leave you to it. Naruto, are you sure you want to try this? Even with your ability, this being is old and powerful. The Kyuubi was a being created by the Rakudo Sennin to hold part of the powers of the monster he faced. The old Hokage asked, the worry in his voice showed, but this was something that he needed to try. Besides, if he failed, then there would be no consequences. Yes, I do. There is a lot to gain and nothing to lose from this GG. I will talk to the fox and I will go through with this. I just need to face it alone. Turning to Jiraiya he says, Jiraiya-san, will it be possible to do this now? I'd like to get it out of the way. The sooner, the better. Sure kid, but what do you plan on doing other than talk to it? The old man wouldn't tell me. Sigh. I'd rather not, but you are involved in this. I plan to talk to the Kyuubi and hopefully gain its respect. The reason for this is because of my abilities. Speaking of which, what are your abilities? I heard that you have a bloodline that I know you didn't get from either of your parents. The Sannin asked. Wow, I'm surprised you don't know. Keeping this secret as close to home as possible, eh, old man? This earned a chuckle in return. Well, since you're the only a student of the old man's that hasn't left the village or went traitor, I'll tell you. Naruto closed his eyes for a second to collect himself. What are the two sought after things for a ninja, physically? Well, money, power, sir dash. Not like that, I mean for living as a ninja, to fight and kill. What would you give an arm, leg, and as many body parts as possible to attain? You have money, power, and can get most women anyways. So, what else could you wish for? Even if you see it as impossible because of the disgusting or dangerous path you would have to follow. The older nin stood there thinking for a few minutes before he looked at Naruto. Kid, I really don't like where this conversation is going. The only things I can think of are an unlimited supply of chakra, infinite strength, everlasting life, and invincibility. All thing my ex-teammate sought after. He was looking at Naruto with a blank face. Well, while I'm nothing like that disgusting Hebeteam, I have achieved those very same 4 goals of his. This earned a gasp and a hard look from Jiraiya. Now before you go on a warpath, I didn't experiment on anyone, except myself. Sort of. What do you mean sort of, and how did you attain these? The man was not jealous, but angry. The only way he could think of obtaining these goals have a lot of blood and bodies in their paths. A year and a half ago a man came to my class in the academy and talked about chakra control, the chakra core, and more specifically, the solid chakra shard that everyone has. He said that through training you can make it grow bigger and thus have more chakra in general and have more control overall. What he didn't tell us was that exhausting your core was the only known way to make it grow. After the academy let out for the day, I went to my training grounds to see if I could make it grow. I won't tell you the process, but it worked and it didn't cost me any chakra. Most importantly though, nobody died. This caused Jiraiya to gasp again. Wait though, that's not the best part. To see if it was a bloodline, me and Gigi here asked someone I trust to go through the process. I see, if it was a bloodline then they wouldn't be able to do it, but if it wasn't. That is correct, so she attempted the process and lo and behold. It worked with her too. A startled sound came from Sanin's mouth. "Bu. But that would mean dash." Naruto grinned and interrupted him. "You are correct again, Jiraiya-san. This process will work on anyone. The ability to increase the mass of my solid chakra, or the shard as I call it, comes with more than that though. With it comes the ability to control, not only the shape of the shard, but the solidity and compression of the shard. I know that being able to compress your chakra tightly is great for many jutsu, but how does the solidity of it matter?" The man asked, now over enough of the shock to let his inquisitive nature peek through. Well, I'll answer that with another question. What would the effects of liquid chakra be in my muscles, skin, brain, and other organs be? The caused Jiraiya's brain to stop completely. When it started back up he remembered what he knew about liquid chakra and almost crapped his pants at what this mean. He remembered something from Waterfall Village. Their sacred water was liquid chakra, but it went from the stomach to the chakra network. If it was throughout the entire body then. Holy shit, kid. That's like having all the 8 celestial gates open, but with none of the consequences. He exclaimed. Not just that, liquid chakra has an interesting ability to it, besides the power. Can you think of it? The boy asked with a smirk on his face. Well, if I remember correctly, it did boost a person's healing ability greatly. But that was when it was consumed. If it was distributed around the body then it would be possible to heal even if you were stabbed in the brain. It was obvious that now that he was over his initial shock, he was prepared for anything. Hell, he has more chakra than even the Kyuubi now that I'm trying to detect it. A lot more chakra, holy shit. Why is it fluctuating so rapidly? Well, at least on the outside he was prepared. Though, he was sweating a little bit. Almost correct. When a mass amount of liquid chakra is present, it doesn't cause rapid healing. No, it causes regeneration. As long as liquid chakra is present throughout my body, then I will stay alive. I could be decapitated and the liquid chakra will keep me alive. Hell, I only need to eat when I feel like it. This also means that I won't age unless I want to. That threw Jiraiya through a loop. Infinite chakra, invincibility, and agelessness. What was this kid? Also, because it's in my muscles as well, I am as strong as I need to be. I actually train with Guy on a daily basis, just so I can keep my reaction times up. He had all 4 of them. All of them. Okay, kid. If you can't gain the respect of that beast, then nobody can. In all actuality, you have more chakra than it does. I should know, I faced the damn thing before Minato did. I may get in trouble for this, but you need to know, you are not the only Jinchuriki that the Kyuubi has had. In fact, your mother was the last one. That is enough, Jiraiya. Any more than that will be learned by him upon making Chunin and then Jounin. He knows that this is how it has to be, he knows that his father asked this of me, but not who his father is. The Hokage said, well, he does know, but I had to neither confirm nor deny that. Naruto, you figure out way too many secrets, way too easily. That's fine, but I wanted to let him know that only one person has ever had its respect. Jiraiya said to the older man. And who was that, Jiraiya-san? Its creator, the Rakudo Sennin. Also, from what the old man has told me, you never tapped into its powers. So, it's probably asleep. That was part of the seal, until you purposely tap into its chakra, then it will stay asleep. Good luck waking it up. Well then, let's do this. With that, Naruto followed Jiraiya's instruction, hoping that everything works out. Naruto sits down and focuses in towards the seal. It took a little while, but Naruto completed his task. It was rather simple, all he needed to do was focus on the center of the seal and think of the fox. When he appeared, he noticed that his mind looked like an underwater mine. There was no air in it at all, just water, and there were large crystal formations all over the place. He could breathe because this was his mind. Now that he was looking around, this was not water, it was like water but thicker and glowed slight. In fact, it kind of looked like liquid chakra. That meant that those crystals were his solid chakra. When he tried to move, he was surprised that there was absolutely no pressure, it was like moving through air. Searching for any chakra in the area that wasn't his, he sensed a large source down the hallway he was at. Following the tunnel, he noted it split off, one way continued down, but instead of just another long hallway, it was filled with doors. The other way opened up into a giant area with massive bars at the end. That must be the seal, found Kyuubi-san. Walking into the seal room, as he decided to call it, he walked up to the Kage and noted that he couldn't really see all that well. Focusing on his chakra in the area, he pushed it all back, and sure enough it all left the room and the hall before it. Much better. Now that he could see better, he could make out the sleeping giant through the bars. Now, how to wake it up? Looking around, he noticed the red chakra surrounding the creature. That'll work. Focusing on that chakra, he noticed it sluggishly move towards him. If I can move it around. Focusing on the red chakra again, he tried compressing it. It worked, but slowly. So I can, if I can do this correctly, then this will be hilarious. It was a little difficult to compress, but he eventually got it compressed enough to liquefy it, then he solidified it slightly until it had a hard, but soft, surface. He then changed it to form a giant hand. Controlling the hand, he gently placed the palm on the Kyuubi's head and moved it down, petting the giant creature. Well, it is an animal, and I couldn't think of a better way to wake up from what could have been considered a nightmare, It's purring, heh. A giant intelligent animal, but an animal nonetheless. Yep, the Kyuubi was purring. Stopping his petting, he let the chakra go back to its natural gaseous state. 5 more minutes, Otu-san. He was not expecting that reaction from the beast. Shaking his head clear, he decided to say something. I'm sorry, Kyuubi-san, but you need to wake up so we can talk. That got a reaction from the creature, its eyes shot open and looked at him for a second, confusion clear in its eyes. So? You are my container then? Sadly yes, Kyuubi-san. The polite and sad tone made the Kyuubi even more confused and slightly angered. Sadly? Are you not happy that you have unlimited power and healing at your fingertips, ninja? Many mortals would kill their entire village if it would mean half of the power and ability at my fingertips. It said this as it raised up its giant arm and clenched its fist. Kyuubi is an anthropomorphic being, this means it has a body structure was like that of a human, but has fur covering its entire body and 9 giant tails and a fox's head. However, it was also known that as an anime, it liked to stay on its hands and feet. After it finished its statement, Naruto started chuckling, angering the Kyuubi even more. What's so funny, Ninjan? Just because I was sealed in here does not make me any less power. If it wasn't for this damned seal, I would show you just how powerful I am. Even without my yin chakra, I am more powerful than a mere human child like you. This made Naruto to stop chuckling and stare straight in the beast's eyes. Really? I don't know power? Not only are you underestimating me, you are being rude for no reason. No, I don't find myself liking that at all. As he was saying that, water was starting to rush into the room. At least, the Kyuubi thought it was water. Do you know that less than 2 years ago I figured out a secret? This was a secret that would make me akin to a god. Something that I hate to think about and refuse to call myself. This power lets me to be more powerful than even you. I've heard that from many of you ninjan. There has been only one creature that has so much as wound me, and the only being that has ever had my respect. I doubt you have even a percentage of his power, and seriously doubt that you have even a fraction of a percent of my power. The being was downright furious now. This human, this child, thinks that it could rival its one power? The water kept pouring in. Naruto was now standing ankle deep in it. Actually, I didn't know I had more power than you until a little while ago. A man that faced you before you were sealed told me so. He was quite shocked at that, and even more shocked that I wanted to talk to you. Quite frankly, I was hoping to come in here and at least talk to you to see the reason you attacked Konoha, but you are being downright rude. And that is pissing me off. After he said that, crystals started bursting from corners and other parts of the floor, walls, and ceiling. This scared the Kyuubi slightly. These crystals and the water were giving off chakra, massive amounts of chakra. What is this? The beast said, looking around as the crystals started to spread around the walls. This is part of the power I discover. You see, I was told that you were a being of pure chakra. Is that true? The being nodded. Well, do you know what happens when a piece of solid chakra touches a lesser form of chakra? The Kyuubi nodded again. Then I wouldn't touch those crystals if I were you, they would absorb you straight out. What do you mean, ninjan? What is this? The beast was getting really nervous now. The power coming from the human in front of him was rising at a fast rate. He was now more powerful than the man, the first human he fought, Shodaime Hokage, and it was still rising. Does it matter? Yes, I suppose it does. You see, I created a process that anyone can use that allows for me to do something that no creature of any kind had figured out. You see these crystals on the walls? What about them? Scared or not, Kyuubi still had its dignity, for now. Well, put simply, they grew from my solid chakra shard. Naruto said with an evil smirk. Underestimate me, fine. But rudeness will only get your ass pranked. And the truth is the best shocker of them all. Impossible. The being shouted, though some fear showed in its voice. Care to touch one and find out? Naruto said, smirk still in place. No bluffs here, bud. The Kyuubi growled and made some of its red chakra fly at one of the bigger crystals on the wall near it. When the chakra touched the crystal, it stopped immediately. After a second or two, the red chakra started to get darker, turning purple. After a total of 5 seconds, it had turned a pure blue like Naruto's chakra. How? I already told you how. I created the ability to control my shard's mass, shape, density, and even solidity. However, only me and one other person used this method, but only 3 people total know this process. Naruto said. The room was completely filled with liquid chakra again. The Kyuubi was staring at Naruto in shock. This boy's chakra levels dwarfed his own now and was still rising. What are you going to do to me then? It knew it was going to disappear. With it gone, the humans would no longer fear it, but at least he would gain control again. What to do indeed? Well, I could just make you disappear. Kyuubi flinched at that. Nah, not even you deserve that. The Kyuubi was now extremely shocked and confused, and scared. What is the human planning to do with me? Meh, I could torture you, that would feel too much like my job and I would get no satisfaction from it at all. What to do? Aha! That caused the fox to flinch itself, waiting for its fate. How about? The fox leaned in scared about what it would hear. An apology? Kyubi was now looking at him in shock, and hope? Well? The boy asked with a raised eyebrow. That's all you want? An apology? You're not going to try to control me and make me your tool and weapon? It was more confused than it had ever been before. The only one who ever did something like this was. Well, yeah, I wouldn't gain anything from hurting you. You're not really an enemy and you're already locked up. So an apology is all I want or need. You're serious? At the nod the Kyubi let out a breath from its maw and looked straight into Naruto's eyes. Give me a second, I have to push away my pride for this. That's fine, take your time. Saying that, Naruto sat down and waited. After a few minutes the Kyubi opened its mouth again. I apologize for my rude behavior earlier. There. Now what am I to do? I want to ask you why you attacked my home? You don't have to answer right now, but I want to know eventually. To tell you the truth, just before attacking your village, I was sealed into a pregnant woman, but the pregnancy had made the seal weak and a creature called Madara Ucha attacked the place they were to birth the child and unsealed me. That man has the ability to control me and had me attack your village because of his grudge against it. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. Hey Kyubi? Yes? You got a name and for that matter, got a gender? The fox glared at the last part. The name I was given is Kurama and I do not wish to give you my gender. Female then. Really wasn't expecting that, but oh well. The fox, no, Kurama looked at him in shock. You're not surprised that I'm female and one of the most powerful beings on this earth? Meh, what does gender matter to power? I can see why the Rakudo Sennin would give a female the most power though. That caused Kurama to glare at him again and ask, what's that supposed to mean? Well, women are more mature than men, tend to be smarter, and quite frankly don't like to flaunt the power they have most of the time. That's true for females of all species. Naruto said with a smile on his face. He may be powerful, but he wasn't sexist and he didn't use people either. He also didn't kill or torture without reason. That he doesn't kill and torture, no, he was a ninja and he did whatever his village needed for him to do. You are an interesting human. What is your name? My name is Saibansho no Naruto. It used to be Naruto Uzumaki, but to keep this power of mine hidden, I set it up as a bloodline. The laws of my village made me have to change it. You really are an interesting human. Naruto-san. You now have my respect, Naruto-san, please don't lose it. Kurama said, staring at Naruto, a hard look in her eyes. Well, how about I trade that respect for friendship? We are going to be stuck together for a long time coming, and I mean a long time. I am immortal after all. That caused the fox's eyes to widen in shock again, at him being immortal and the offer. No human she has ever met, besides her creator, offered them friendship. I would like that, Naruto-san. She all but whispered. Great. That means I can trust you. So, how you like to go out for a walk, so to speak? Once again surprising Kurama. That's impossible, I'm afraid. If my chakra present in your body then you and I die. She said sadly. Who said anything about your chakra leaving? The smile on his face caused her to smile as well, though she had no idea what the being in front of her was planning. Hokuge's office. Whoosh. A wind had picked up in the office, causing the men to look at the source of the wind. Naruto. Think he's fighting it? I knew this was a bad idea. Jiraiya of the Sannin said with a grimace. No, I think he's showing off. Just call it a feeling. The Hokage said with a small frown on his face. A few minutes pass and the wind calms down. They notice a gentle smile on his face. After a few seconds his eyes open. Well? Sarutobi asks. Just a second. Naruto said and then closes his eyes again. They wait a few minutes and watch a small purple gem form in front of his face. The gem then starts to grow until it was just a little taller than Naruto was. Then the shape started to change, taking on a human look. After a minute the gem had taken on a very human appearance, a very female appearance. The gem then started to change from crystal to... Is that skin and hair? What the heck is the kid doing? When it was done they noticed something else about the gem-turned woman. She was naked. She had long red hair and fair skin. Just like I imagined. Now, just wait a sec for her to wake up. Naruto was now standing looking at them. What are you talking about, kid? What happened with the Kyuubi? And what's with the naked chick? Jiraiya asked. He was really confused about this event, though that body ID to die for, and I wouldn't mind using it for my next book. Oh yeah. Yeah, forgot to mention, he's a pervert that writes a book called Icha Icha. Otu-san is right. I need to get used to this new body of mine. Why is it cold? The woman asked and then opened her eyes, making the two men in the room gasp. Her eyes were a dark blue. She looked just like Kushina. The old Koge gasped out. Naruto answered. Guys, let me introduce you to my new sister, Saibansho no Kurama. She was, up until a minute ago, the demon fox we all called the Kyuubi. Naruto said with a grin at the shocked looks on the men in front of him. Why did you release it? What could have possibly happened to make you even attempt something so dangerous? Jiraiya yelled. The Hokage just looked at Naruto, trying to think about what was going on. You wanna know what happened that would make me do this? Naruto asked, the grin never leaving his face. Yes. Simple. The two leaned in. Oh, I love it when they do that. She apologized. His grin widened to a full-blown smile. The two men looked dumbfounded at the statement. She apologized. Jiraiya said slowly. Why do you keep calling it a she? I thought the Kyuubi was a guy. I can answer that for you. They turned to the woman in question, who was still naked. You see, all of us were genderless and would have stayed so. However, whenever one of us got sealed, they would become that of the same gender as the one they were sealed in. That made the Hokage and Sannin nod their heads. It made sense that she would be female, seeing that the first person she was sealed in was the Shodame's wife, Mito Uzumaki. That is understandable. The Koge said, then pressed a button on an intercom on his desk. Can I get a set of female ANBU attire sent in here? After getting a confirmation he turned back to everyone. So, what is to happen now? You do know, Naruto, that she is your responsibility? I would also like to know how you managed to release her from your body. I know. Her chakra is still in her body and will stay there. What I did was use my own DNA and fused it with a small chunk of solid chakra that I made from her chakra. This allowed me to make an actual living, breathing, bleeding body. Though to make sure it was female I had to take out some of the chromosomes in my DNA and replace it with her own. Because of this, I am technically her father, making her my Otome, daughter, and herself as her mother. Strange, I know, but I have a literal family now, so whatever. The men were staring slack-jawed at his words. You made the Kyuubi a body and our father because you used your own tissue for it. Kid. You created a human without much but a few strands of DNA and chakra. What the hell are you? Some kind of god? Jiraiya yelled Naruto. While I am powerful, Jiraiya-san, I am no god. I am just a very powerful kid. I have one question. Everyone turned to Hokage. How are we going to explain her to the council, let alone the rest of the village? Actually, Otu-san thought of that too. Everyone was looking at Kurama now. We tell them that he destroyed the Kyuubi and used its chakra to create me using his own tissue and some of the chakra left over in me from my last carrier. He did that because the full brunt of the Kyuubi's chakra was messing up his control over his bloodline. Yeah, that seemed like a good excuse. We can also say that I gave her the earlier memories of the last carrier that was held in the chakra that I used to create her. It sounds plausible enough. Her chakra is purple now, not red, so that helps. That will work excellently, but why is her chakra purple now? Sarutabi asked. Simple he stopped at a knock on the door, walking over, he stuck his head out the door. An ANBU holding a stack of cloths was standing there. I'll take that. Closing the door and giving the cloths to Kurama, he continued, anyways, I used my DNA meaning that there was human involved, this changed her chakra shard to become a light purple from mixing with her own. Basically, she's a half-demon, a Hanyu now. Though the council doesn't need to know that. By the time he was done, Kurama was finished dressing and turned to Naruto with a smile as she nodded. Yeah, also since he is technically my Otu-chan, I expect to be spoiled like rotten. She giggled after she said that, then stopped. How do humans keep control of these hormones? That caused the others to laugh. Council chambers, a few hours later. Hello everyone, thank you all for coming at such short notice. I have some great news for you all. The Hokage had called the council almost immediately after they all talk and when the Kyuubi explained her attacking the village. What is it, Hokage-sama? The elder, Hamura, asked. The first great piece of news is that Jiraiya has returned. This caused a few smiles from everyone. Jiraiya being in the village was a great thing for everyone. The next piece of news is even greater. Saibansho no Naruto came to me earlier and, with the help of Jiraiya, completely destroyed the Kyuubi from the seal. This got shocked looks and gasps from everyone. What? But, Hokage-sama, Naruto-san is sitting over there in his seat, you told us that if the Kyuubi was removed then he would die from the extraction. The other elder, Koharu, yelled. Naruto stood up and looked at the Hokage, if I may, Hokage-sama? He asked. Getting a nod, he took the floor. As you all know, if the chakra of the Kyuubi is removed, then I will die. However, while the beast was a being of pure chakra, it also had something that allowed it to think, move, and feel. Its mind, correct? Yamanaka Inoichi asked, he seemed to have an idea of where this was going. Yes, that is correct, Yamanaka-san. He looked at everyone in the room and then asked, what happens to you when all of your chakra, including the solid chakra, is removed from your body completely? Death. Abirame Shibi said simply. Yes, what I did was remove the Kyuubi's chakra from the seal and into my body. This was hard to control, but when the thing was dead there was something else left in there. What that came from one of the civilian members. Sitting in the place of the beast was fragments of the mind and chakra of the last container of the Kyuubi. This caused more gasps. So I decided to do something with all this. You see, the beast's chakra was hard to control, in fact, it also messed with my ability to control my shard. What did you do, Saibansho-san? Hyuga Hayashi asked. That is simple. Looking at the Koge, who nodded, he faced the door, Kurama, please come in. After he said this everyone turned as a person stepped into the chamber and gasped at her. This is Kurama, I created her from the chakra and fragmented mind of the last holder, some of my own flesh, and the chakra shard of the beast. She looks just like Kushina Uzumaki. Indeed, like a teen Kushina Uzumaki. That's because I know Kushina was the last holder of the Kyuubi. Sorry, this will take some getting used to, she died giving birth to a child, thus releasing the beast. Everyone there died because of it. Kurama spoke, a sad look on her face. Wait, if you were mad from the leftovers of Uzumaki-sama and Saibansho-san then. Doesn't that mean that he is technically your father? The head of the health department asked. Yes, that technically makes her, mine and Kushina Uzumaki's child. Naruto answered, with a smile. This also means she carries my bloodline. Kurama-san? Do you mind if I take a look at your chakra coils? Hayashi asked out of the blue. Go ahead, but please don't look at anything else. I have her memories, I know a little about all of Peeper. That caused a few laughs from those that knew Hayashi when he was younger. Well, that proves the knowledge. Byakugan. He looked at her coils for a few seconds then deactivated them. Her chakra is a light purple, a mix of human and demon chakra. I also noticed that Saibansho-san has purple chakra in place of where the Kyuubi resided. That means he confirmed that, as far as he knew, the Kyuubi was gone. Yes, Otu-san did a great job, didn't he? Kurama said with a smile. This kind of shocked a lot of people in the room. Otu-san? Well, he is technically my father. These memories I have are not really my own, but technically my mother's memories. So, I won't have her personality, for the most part. Kurama said to the slightly shocked faces. She definitely wasn't like Kushina. Kushina, while respectable, didn't use courtesy words like san, dono, or sama when talking to someone, and she also never said Otu-san, even when talking about her own deceased father. Well, that proves that you're not a replica of Kushina, and your chakra proves you're not the Kyuubi. Well, we will have to have you initiated as a citizen of Konoha. Do you wish to serve the village as a kunoichi? The head of records asked the, as far as they are aware, recently created female. Thank you and yes. I would like to work beside my father, if that's possible. She said. How old are you supposed to be anyway? You'd have to ask the miracle worker I call a father. She answered. She didn't have a clue how old he made her. Everyone turned to Naruto. Well, when I made her, I used my own tissue, so she and I would have been the same age, but in the process of her creation, I made her slightly, older. Say, 16? He said. Wow, this is getting even weirder. So you, yourself, are only 12, but your daughter is 16. That is strange. This came from, surprisingly, Shibi Abirame. Others nodded at his words. This was definitely strange, even among ninja. Yes, but hey. I needed to make her body fit what her mind would have been. Kushina Uzumaki died when she was 24, I am 12. I could have made her 18, but I didn't want to, so I made her a little younger than that. Naruto said with a frown on his face. Fine, we'll put her in the records as your creation, but because she was not born normally, she will have to be put down as with a creation date and not a birth date. Also, she will have to go through the genin exam when it comes up, and you will have to introduce her to your teammates and senseis. You can also tell then about the Kyuubi you held. The Heikage said with a smirk. Heh, that's for the prank, Naruto-kun. This meeting is adjourned. The next day, T&I building. Naruto decided to get it over with as soon as possible. He walked in with Kurama in tow. They headed past the entrance and down into the main chamber where his team usually waited. When he entered, he saw them waiting for him like usual. They both looked up and Inare asked, "Who the girl? What the heck is with that look? Powerful and smart, but still a clueless guy." "Sai, hey you two, there is something I need to tell the both of you." The look on his face made them get ready for some big news. He proceeded to tell them about the Kyuubi, how he got rid of the Kyuubi, and what Kurama was now. He didn't tell them the truth, but the same thing he told the council. He could trust them, yes, but not with that information. So, you used to hold the freaking Kyuubi, but got rid of it and created this babe here out of what was left over from the last chick that held her and your own flesh? Goran asked like this was an everyday occurrence. Yeah, why are you two not surprised and saying that it's impossible? Naruto asked, slightly confused. Naruto, we kind of expect the impossible from you. If you had come in saying that this was your girlfriend, then I wouldn't believe you. When you say you did something impossible, like create a human from almost nothing but chakra, then it's believable because you do the impossible just about every time we are together. Anire said, with Goran nodding his head in agreement. After that, Naruto explained how it happened, for the most part. Finding out about the Kyuubi was a shocker for his teammates. However, this would only make them respect him more and will bring them closer together. Little did Naruto know that a certain someone was more relieved about the situation than they showed. This good that you now have a true family and we accept her as one of us. Naruto smiled at this, but remember, we are a team and shall always be a team, more than friends, as close as family. Goran said, looking Naruto right in the eye. In fact, we were talking about giving ourselves a team name, you know, for the logs and for the reputation. Besides, if we get a good name and reputation, then we could eventually be like the Sannin. My dream is to be well known and rub it in those bastards' faces that they missed one. Well, I actually had an idea for that. I was thinking of something based on our abilities. What do you think of? They spent a little while going over what they wanted to be known as, and they came to an agreement after a short time. This would be the beginning of a group of warriors that would rival and surpass even the Sannin. It was during this strange series of events that they decided their fate. They would strike down any who challenged them, like the mythical gods of old. Their enemies would hear thunder as they approached, see lightning as they appeared, and leave the very foundation of the land changed as they left. This would be the beginning of Goran the Hidora no Te, Goran the Hydra hand. You can cut of this hand's fingers, but for every one removed 2 more shall take its place. He will hold you for as long as he wants you in his grasp. Inare the Satsugai Saishin, Inare the killing spirit, the spirit shall sit there whispering your death and murder in your ear, and you will have no choice but to listen and obey. Naruto the Kaichino Saibankan, Naruto the Father Judge, you cannot harm the Father Judge. He is there to pass judgment on you and your kin. It will be drawn out and you shall be tried and convicted. They would be known as the Taikoku Sukiru no Kami, the imperial scale deities. Wow, that was fun. Okay, go ahead and flame if you need to. I need to know what you liked and didn't like to make this story enjoyable. What Goran meant by rub it in those bastards' faces that they missed one is that the Mist Village missed killing him even though the rest of his family was murdered. He doesn't like Mist or Mist Ninja, current or previous. Little known fact, the Titans were pretty much gods and goddesses, just considered evil because the Greek gods allowed man to flourish and the Titans had no self-control and constantly destroyed the lands. In fact, the Titans and the Greek gods were brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, and uncles to each other. Talk about incest. Taikoku Sukiru no Kami. Sarutabi Hiruzen said, looking up from the paperwork at the team in front of him. If you can pull this off, you could very well be the next Sannin or better. However, it will be a long and arduous task. You will have to train, day in and day out. Getting stronger and stronger. He said this looking each of them in the eye. Are you sure you want to do this? Hi, Hokage-sama. Naruto-kun can control the very essence that makes us ninja. Goran's bloodline is like the great giants of old, and I can put whispers into the minds of people. As you can see on the paperwork, we also added titles to that part of the paperwork, even though that is only normally allowed for Chunin and up. We want to do this to achieve our goals and dreams. Inare was the one that answered the Koge. Her words were serious and she said them with every ounce of courage and conviction she could muster to the god of shinobi. Then she smiled and said, besides, you didn't think you could be the only god among the nin, did you? This got a laugh from Sarutabi and then he looked at them with a smile. While the title section is normally for Chunin and higher, as the Hokage icon chose of a person or group of people are ready to take a title for themselves. So, how about a deal? This caused the 3 nins' eyes to widen slightly. I will have the 3 of you take an A-rank mission with a mid to high chance of nin interference. If you can complete this mission, then I will let you have this team name and those titles. Do we have a deal? The 3 looked at each other with smiles and nodded before they looked back at him. Hi, Hokage-sama, and thank you. This came from Naruto, someone who has never called him by his title. This made everyone in the room, including the hidden ANBU, to widen their eyes in shock. You will never regret this. So, what kind of mission is this? The Hokage picked up a piece of paper from the side of his desk and looked it over for a few seconds. This mission I was originally going to give to an ANBU unit, but since you 3 are willing to show your conviction, I am giving you this chance. You are to go to the Fire Nation capital, Kasai. Once there, you will give this sealed letter to one of the people at the registration office. They will take you to somewhere and after that you will be escorting a person of interest and his wife back to Konoha in time for the Chunin exams. I will not tell you who this person is, just that you will be surprised when you meet him. Whoa. Hokage-sama, are you sure you want to let 3 genin escort a PI? Goran had stepped forward as he said that. The Anbu in the room agreeing with this, they knew why this person was, they did this every year. What was the Hokage thinking? Yes, I am sure. Though I will be sending Anko and 1 ANBU to help escort him as well. Remember, his fate is in your hands. You are to leave first thing tomorrow morning at 4, dismissed. As they exited he called out to them. "Oh. Also, you three get to be the ones to tell Anko about your mission, good luck." "They are so screwed." "You did what?" Anko screamed at them. "Yep, they were screwed. Screwed. We made a deal with the Hokage. He said that if you can do an A-rank mission that he chose, then we could get the team name and titles that we wanted on our registry." "I'm surprised he made a deal with you three in the first place." Sigh, "Okay fine. What's the mission?" She was really annoyed. "We have to go to Kasai and give this sealed letter to a person at the registration office. We will then be taken to a PI and his wife that we are to escort back to Konoha in time for the exams coming up." The Hokage didn't say who we were to escort, just that he was really important and that we would most likely encounter other ninja on this mission. Goran was the one that told her. By the time he was done, her mouth was hanging open. After a few seconds she shook her head and whistled. "Damn, kids. You three must have his attention to let him escort who it is. I think we will. Yeah, you could say that the man we are escorting will literally be the most important man you will ever escort in your careers. Hell, if this goes right and you impress that man, then you would be pretty much immune to the council," she said to the now shocked kids. Who are we escorting?" Naruto asked, the shock in his voice evident. "The only person we get from Kasai no Shuto. Capital of fire, Kasai meaning fire, the one man that rules over Hai no Kuni. Our very own daimyo, Kasai Nensho." She was only louder than a whisper. The ANBU near her gasped, but stayed at his post. "He gave us the mission escort that man." Inare yelled. They were not in a secure location, so she corrected herself from almost yelling out their job, because some of the prisoners here would be released at some point if they are innocent of the crime they are in for, or they may even escape, though that hasn't happened yet. "Yes. So you see the trust the Hokage is putting in you three. At the nod she continued, "This is going to be a hell of a job. Anything else I should know about it?" "Well, there will be an ANBU waiting for us at the gate to help with the mission. Also, we leave tomorrow at 4 in the morning." She nodded and looked down the hall to Ibuki's office. "I'll tell Ibuki, you three pack. I can't believe he's letting me go along. The council is going to give him so much shit over this." Saying that she left down the hall and they went to pack. The next morning, village gate. Everyone was now at the gate, having just gathered there. The ANBU going with them was a Nico ANBU. The only thing that stood out on her was that she was a captain. They could tell from her ANBU mark, it was red. She also had long purple hair. "Ah, Nico. So you're the help? This is great. I haven't gotten to see you since the last time we went drinking." Anko yelled, hugging the ANBU. "Anko, please stop hugging me. I haven't been able to go out with you girls in a while, due to all the missions I've had. It will be great to work with you and your team, though I am confused that the Hokage would send a genin team to escort him. Are they aware of whom they will be escorting and the danger it means?" she asked while looking at the three. "Yes they are, and to tell you the truth, I'm proud that the Hokage put the trust in them for this," Anko said proudly, also looking at them. "Okay, but we must go. The faster we get there, the sooner we get back. Before we go, do one of you have the letter?" Nico asked. Naruto answered, "Yes, though for the sake of safety, we will not say which one of us has it." She nodded, "Good. If you had told me, I would have lost any respect you may have gained with me so far. Let's go." She walked out the gate and started running at genin speed. Naruto looked at the other two on the team. They all smirked. "Let's show her real speed." Saying that, they all sped off, surpassing the Anbu who, after getting over her shock, tried to keep up with them. "What the hell have you been teaching these kids, Anko? They are faster than most jounin, for crying out loud." She yelled at the snake mistress, who smirked at her. "You wanna know how I met that blonde on my team, 'cause that's where it starts." At the nod she continue, I had a really crappy day about 2 years ago, you know, the last one we did together. I went to my forest to relax and there was some kid from the academy in my tower, but you wanna know what else? What? He got there in less than 2 hours. What? Yeah, that blonde kid up there was him. In fact, he and Guy train a lot, because he is the only one that can match Gay speed without his weights on. The Nico-masked Kunoichi was staring at Naruto in shock, though her mask prevented anyone from seeing it. The first month on my team we worked on their overall speed and chakra control, and let me tell you, when it comes down to it nobody, not even me or Guy, know better speed or chakra control than Naruto. Hell, thanks to his damn bloodline, he has better control than anyone could hope to have, even Tsunade. They were a few yards behind the genin, who decided to slow down enough to let them catch up. Wait, you mean to tell me that, the kid has better control than a Sannin? Not just that, he has more chakra than all of the Sannin and the Hokage combined with better control than anyone. Here, these are copies of Naruto's, Inara's, and Goran's information scrolls. This will tell you what we know of them and their bloodlines. Handing the Nico Anbu the scrolls she went to catch up with her students. A few hours later she was done reading the info. This was the most shocking shit she has ever read. Hell, in one of the scroll had an explanation as to why the Kage allowed them this mission and she knew what it would mean. If these kids finish this mission and if Daimyo-sama likes them, then the council can't refute or decline the title they want or the names they chose. Hell, based on their skills so far, these kids could be considered specialists already. That kid Goran is being helped by Heikuen to create a new sword style and could take on most Jounin. I'll have to talk Heikuen when we get back. The girl, Inare, she's training her dojutsu to see what else it can do. So far she would be the perfect interrogator and spy, high Chunin, maybe low Jounin. Naruto. That boy is something else. No, these kids are something else. Kasai no Shuto. They were finally here. It had only taken them a day to get here, which was actually faster than any ANBU unit has done. Normally, an ANBU unit to get here took about 3 to 4 days. They now had a little less than 6 days to get back, which was perfect, because that was how long it normally took an ANBU unit to get back with the daimyo and his men. Walking into the registration office they went up to one of the counter and Goran presented the man there with the sealed letter. The man looked at the letter, his eyes widening at the seal on the letter. Looking up at the nin present he says, "Please come with me." He got up and started to run out the door. They followed the man who brought them to a giant palace. The daimyo's palace to be exact. They are here to escort daimyo Same. Here is the letter. The man had handed the letter to one of the gate guards, who opened the letter and read it over. He looked up at the man and nodded his head. The man bowed and left, probably to get back to the registration office. The guard turned to them, looking them over. You know, normally it takes almost a week for you guys to get here. Kasai-sama will be pleased at the quickness of your team. Please follow me. With that, the guard turned and walked towards the palace. When they entered he turned back to them again, "Wait here." After about 5 minutes he entered again. There was 5 men behind him, 4 of them surrounding the other man. The man looked to be in his mid-50s with large build and medium-length grey hair and brown eyes. He had a well-trimmed beard and glasses on. He was wearing a robe that signified him as the daimyo. This is Kasai-sama. I hope that as you escort him, you will put everything on the line, even your life if need be. They bowed to the man in the center of the group who opened his mouth to speak. I am glad that you could all make it so early. I will be able to see the first part of the exam after many years. That one has always been my favorite. Let us get prepared, we will meet you outside the city by the registration office. They bowed once again and left. It hadn't taken long for them to get back to the registration office, and it also didn't take long for the same men from earlier to meet back up with them. Though this time the men that were surrounding the daimyo were carrying a litter, all of them carrying a corner. The litter itself was made of polished wood and had slightly see-through curtains around it. They could also make out 2 people inside it. Are you guys ready? Anko asked the men carrying the litter. At their nods, she turned around and said, "Let's go." After a day and a half, the men on the litter were getting a little nervous, though nobody said anything. After 3 days, they asked for a break. At the daimyo's consent, they all stopped. "What's with the break, you guys tired?" Naruto asked the men, who turned to him, and one answered, "No, we are nervous. By now we would have faced at least 1 or 2 nin, but we haven't seen even 1 person yet, which is very strange considering this road is traveled by a lot of people. We should have seen at least a few travelers or merchants. We also noticed that there haven't been any animal close to the roads at all, not even birds." The other men nodded at this. The stress on them was apparent. "Oh. Is that all it is? I am so sorry, we should have warned you, you see." He was stopped by Inare, who looked to the men. "I'll explain. As you can see, I have a dojutsu. This allows me to project my thoughts into other people and animals. For the last few days I have been testing its abilities and succeeded on making a bubble of sorts. Anyone inside of the bubble is immune to my effects, but anyone outside of it will think that they want to stay away from the road for some reason or another. Ninja, travelers, merchants, and any animal that are not resistant to my whispers will think this and follow its command. I am sorry for not telling you this sooner." When she was done, the men were shocked and awed at the ability of this girl. "I can see why Sarutobi-sama would send you children to escort me and my wife then. I was confused as to why he would send children to do what Anbu normally did, but you have impressed me with your ability. I do see one problem though. What if someone immune to your abilities gets through and attacks?" The daimyo was now outside of the litter looking at her. "Actually, I can answer that one, daimyo-sama." This came from Naruto. The daimyo turned to Naruto and nodded his head. "If someone who is immune to Inare's abilities comes after us, myself and Goran are here to battle them. Depending on whether or not we want them dead, me or him will do battle. He can battle anyone, regardless of rank or power, for the simple fact that part of his bloodline allows him to have a faster reaction time than anyone. Even Mito Gai cannot surprise him." Naruto said this while looking at Goran, who nodded his head. "Mito Gai? That is impressive. But what about you, Naruto, was it?" The daimyo was looking at Naruto. "Yes, that is correct, daimyo-sama. As for my abilities, well, I can manipulate the mass, shape, and density of my chakra shard. I can be as powerful, fast, or strong as I want to be." Naruto said that, looking the daimyo in the eye, which widened in shock. He and his men gasped at the thought. "So, you are the head of the new clan I heard about, then?" Getting a nod, he continued, "You 3 impress me, but do you mind telling me why the Hokage has allowed 3 genin to escort me?" "Here, daimyo-sama, this has an explanation." Nico, who was watching everything go on, handed him a scroll. After reading it over, his face was overcome with a thoughtful look. "Sarutobi, you old dog. Ha! I see now. Okay, you 3. You have me impressed and I like your this goal you have." He said that, raising the scroll in his hand. "So, I'll tell you what, I want the girl to lower her jutsu and we shall continue on. We are a day's walk away from Konoha, so if you can keep me and my men safe that long, then I will agree with this title and those names that you wish to have. Also, if you can make sure none of my men die, then I will owe you a favor." This caused everyone to gasp. A daimyo owing you a favor is like saying you get a free pass for anything you want. Hell, it's better than a get-out-of-jail-free card. If they wanted, they could trade that favor for a gold mine, a huge plot of land, or even a lord or ladyship. This was big. Hi, daimyo-sama. We will not fail you," Naruto said as him and his teammates bowed to the man. "I expect you not to. Also, from here on out you may call me Kasai-sama," he said, smiling. "Hi, Kasai-sama," all 3 said in unison. After about an hour they decided to get back on the road. It was only about 4 hours after that when they instantly noticed something wrong. All the animals in the area had quit making noises and there was a killing intent filling the area. Everyone stopped and looked around. Well. Look what I found. It appears the Ulefnin have gotten too complacent. sending a genin squad to escort their daimyo. Oh, this is perfect, I was looking for something that would get me into the good graces of Orochimaru-sama. This voice came from the forested area next to them. A man with a hitayate with a musical note on it appeared, behind him 4 other men appeared. Well, Naruto-san, looks like it's time to earn that favor. This came from inside the litter. Ha! What a joke, 3 genin, and 2 jounin are no match for the Gotsu no Kira of the sound. The leader of them shouted. Nico thought about what he said. The Gotsu no Kira or the 5 killers were originally from Iwa, but went rouge because they like to kill, maim, rape, torture and all other sorts of horrid things. And that was just to their own people. She ran up to one of the nin and initiated the battle with him. Watch out, these guys are some nasty shits. This came from Anko, who jumped to one of the guys. Each of the genin took a nin, Naruto ending up with the leader of them. Naruto. Spreading his chakra through his body, he yelled, Kaikara no Hanji. Force of the judge, this was the first stage of his fight, turning his tenketsu into chakra crystal. This allows him to have infinite chakra and start the other jutsu he uses, but what it also does is turn any chakra that was not crystallized into liquid chakra and filling up his muscles, bones, and organs. Ha! Looks like nothing happened, kid, so sad. What was it supposed to do anyway? I wanna know before I kill YA, hee hee. The nin said with a grin. Naruto smirked and said, go ahead and attack me and find out, asshole. What did you say, you little shit? The nin ran through some hand seal and shouted, Doriyusu no jutsu. Spear of rock formed in front and Naruto, who just stood there. When they pierced him, the sound nin started laughing. Ha! You couldn't even dodge that? Kid, it pierced you all over, you're dead now, I just have to wait. Naruto smiled, his smile was an ear-to-ear smile, like the cat who caught the canary. Are you sure about that? He ripped himself it out, leaving huge holes on him. Holy hell, kid. You aren't as much of a little shit as I though, it's gonna be fun killing you. With that he charged at Naruto, who just shouted, Kusoku no Shujin. The nin who was in mid-jump felt pressure build up on all sides of him, he felt like hundreds of pounds were being forced down on every part of his body. He crashed into the ground, making crack in the earth. He looked up at Naruto. How? Naruto, whose body was now completely healed again, looked at him with that smile again. Simple, the first technique I used allows me to have perfect control over my chakra, it does much more than that, but I won't say what. The second one I use take by chakra and forces it into your muscles, doing that I use your own body's natural iron and duplicate it around your arms, legs, and chest area. That means I surrounded your body's muscle in iron, formed from itself. As Naruto was saying this, his arm was being covered in crystal, sharp crystal. Well, I have a team to help. So, bye. He stabbed the nin through the heart and turned to see the other battles. Goran. He and the nin had a short taijutsu match, but then the sound nin jumped back and pulled out a sword. Heh, snot-nosed little brat, I am the best swordsman on the team. I bet you couldn't even hold one of those swords right, let alone 2. You carry 4 of them in case you lose one? Goran was facing the sound nin who had taken a sword off his back. It was a regular ninjutsu. He was standing in a tradition sword pose, one that most Iwa nin learned. You know, you could have insulted me any other way and I wouldn't have cared, but you insult my swords and we have a problem. Goran said that and unsheathed the 2 sword at his sides and took the starting pose of his very own kenjutsu. Don't worry about any problems, hehehe, you'll be dead schlick, what was it? That was all there was to this battle. Goran stood on the other side of the nin, whose head just fell back. A small piece of skin on the back of his neck was the only thing holding it on. It was suicide to face a hand of the sword. Chuckling at his joke, Goran turned to go help fight with the others. Inare. He, boy am I lucky. Not only do I get to do some killing, but I get to have some fun first. Those were the first words out of the man's mouth. Inare's eyes hardened and she knew she was going to torture this man. Oh, someone will have fun in this fight, but it won't be you. Focusing on the man, she used her technique, take out a kunai. Here, we'll see won't we my little plaything. He took out a kunai, holding it like a knife. You see her move behind you, where do you think you're going, little girl? He grabbed at the air next to him, he turned away from her. You missed her. She's above you, defend, he put the kunai up to defend himself from her. Here, come one girlie, you'll have to do better than that. Inare was actually right next to him, but he was looking in the opposite direction from her. She's running at you, attack, the nin attacked and that's when she struck. Ducking around him and under his extended arm she stabbed him in the heart and head with 2 concealed knives on her wrists. That took more chakra than I thought. She said this while panting slightly. She put as much chakra as she thought she needed to into the whispers, just in case he was stronger than he appeared. He was a jounin. After a round she saw everyone was finished or finishing their battles as well. After the battle. After they were finished, Anko, who easily killed her enemy with her snakes, told them to cut off the head of the nin they killed so they can get the bounty pay. When they were finished they grouped back up and headed back over to the daimyo and his men. So, I guess I owe you that favor then. As well as giving you the okay to Sarutabi. Saying that he enters the litter again and his men pick it up and they all started moving. It didn't take them long to reach Konoha with them going at a slightly faster speed. They got there before sundown and surprisingly didn't meet any other nin along the way. Reaching the gate, they signed in and headed toward the tower. At the base of the tower stood many units of ANBU, Jounin, and the Hokage in front of them. When they got there they bowed to the Koge. Welcome back for another exam, Kasai-sama. I hope that travel was as peaceful as possible? The Koge said to the daimyo who had stepped out of the litter, his men having put it down. Actually, not only was the travel peaceful, we only got attacked by you group of Rouge Nin. However, that was because I wanted it to happen. These 3 genin are something else. He said this with a smile on his face while looking at the old man, whose eyes widened a little. Only one? That's right, Inare Hikaku has that ability of hers. Genma told me she was attempting to make it persuade multiple targets instead of one and I see that it works. Good job Hikaku-san. He said praising the girl, who bowed. I was actually impressed with all 3 of them. In fact, because of an agreement we made, I now owe them a favor. This caused the other nin there to gasp, including the Hokage. What happened to do that? He asked the daimyo. Notice, all my men are alive. This has not happened in the last 5 years. At least 1 man died every year. I hope that next time I need an escort here, if possible, I could have them escort me again. This caused some of the nin to gasp again and talk amongst themselves. The daimyo has never asked for a specific team escort him when needed. That could be arranged. Yes, after all, you know the reason I did this in the first place, if the scroll is any indication. Saruto said staring at a scroll on the daimyo's waist. Yes, this has Saibansho Dono's information on it, as well as the reason. After seeing them battle, even if it was a slightly orchestrated one, they took out the 5 killers. Because of the fact that they went over and beyond my expectations, not only do I owe them a favor each, but I want to give them a favor. This caused even some of the ANBU to talk among themselves. Gotsu no Kira or the 5 killers were rogue Iwanin of Jounin rank. They apparently joined the newest hidden village in Rice Country, Hidden Sound. The fact that they were sent to kill the daimyo is an ill omen. Usually, it was only rogue nin and chunin or under-level nin from other countries to be sent after him. If they had sent the regular squad of 2 ANBU and a chunin, then it was most assured that the daimyo would have perished and his younger brother would have had to take over. His younger brother was a fickle man that never really cared for the Nation of Fire. He was more worried about publicity and what he would name an award for this or that, not a man they wanted ruling over their country. 1. Kasai-sama, it was an honor and a privilege to escort you to our beautiful home. Hokage-sama, may we be excused? Anko asked as she stepped forward and bowed at the 2. Right. You all must be tired. Come to me tomorrow when you usually meet for exercise. I wish to give you this award in person. Dress in formal robes, you will be addressed by the whole council for this. He ordered and they bowed and left. This is perfect, now the civilian council have nothing on Anko. This mean that tomorrow. They were standing outside the chamber doors, waiting for everyone to finish seating and talk among themselves. They all dressed formal. Anko wore a pink kimono of all things. It was a soft pink with a white trim and bow around the waist. Inare wore an off-white kimono with a red rope around her waist. Goran wore a dark blue samu with a white prayer bead necklace. Finally, Naruto was wearing a loose-fitting mofuku. Though, it was formal, it was kind of a strange thing to wear for something like this. Hokage-sama, why are we being addressed by the council for this? Goran asked, his nervousness getting the better of him. It's nothing bad. In fact, this is a great thing. First of all, we haven't had a group of genin with a team title and titles for themselves since the Sannin. You three are being given more than you wished for. I hope you are prepared for what it means. Saying that he walks to the chamber door and enters it, motioning for them to follow. Good morning, councilmen and councilwomen. Today, I have some very great news. There are a few pieces, so I will start with the daimyo's arrival. Sarutobi addressed the council, gaining their attention. Ah yes. When can we expect him, Hokage-sama? He normally does not come until the middle of the second part of the exam. So, are we to expect him at the usual time? One of the council members asked. Actually, that's the great news. The team I sent to retrieve him a week ago has already come back with him in hand and all of his men safely. He said to the council, smiling. Hokage-sama, this is great news. Who was it that could get Daimyo-sama here with such perfect timing? Whoever it is surely deserves a reward. This came from Hayashi, his eyes showing his slight surprise. I agree, especially since they fended off and killed the 5 killers of rock as well. This caused a few of the council members to gasp and they started talking. The Koge raised his hand to stop them and continued, in doing so, not one of his men were killed. This is the first time in years that this has happened. So, they gained a favor from the daimyo. Each. He was smirking now. Wait till they find out who gained this favor. He though, waiting for them to settle down again. Hokage-sama, whoever this team is deserves a promotion at least. Unless they are all ANBU, in which case, they deserve a large pay for this surely? A man from the civilian side said standing. Most of the civilian council members agreed, even some of the clan heads were nodding with this. You think they deserve a promotion or a large pay at least? Who here agrees with this? Most of the council raised their hands. Too easy, I guess I really have gone soft and let these people run everything. Thanks, Naruto, for that talk we had. He though, thinking about a talk he had with Naruto the night before. Well then, I am inclined to agree. That was my next great bit of news. I have found the next Tsukemono Kyumi. That caused everyone to freeze and stare at the Hokage in shock. The Tsukemono Kyumi, or authority set, is a title gifted by the Hokage to those he believes will be the next Sannin. It wasn't an actual title or anything like that, it just meant that every person on the team had an official name given to them by the Koge or daimyo of a country, their own or not. Who Hokage-sama? Daimyo-sama has decided to gift this team with these titles out of respect for this group for protecting him on his way here. The team is now known as Taikoku Tsukiru no Kami. It's a pleasure to introduce you to the imperial scale deities. Smirking, he motions for the team to move into the light. Let me introduce you to them. First we have Goran the Hidora no Te, the Hydra Hand. Next, we have Inare the Satsugai Saishin, the Killing Spirit. Finally, we have the one that asked me for this chance and also gained the favor of the daimyo, Naruto the Kaichino Saibankan, the Father Judge. They have gained the favor of myself and the daimyo along with their sensei Anko Mitarashi, who is to be promoted to full jounin status for this. Everyone in the room was feeling shocked, angry or played. Shocked because a team of genin beat a group of A-rank jounin. Only a few were angry, because of Anko getting promoted and Naruto gaining more power, they couldn't do anything about it anymore. Everyone felt played, the Sandaime played them all like violins to an orchestra, and there wasn't any way to get their control back. One of the council members in the back sat back, a smirk growing on his patched-up face. Well, well, well. I may not like you, Sarutobi, but it seems the professor has made his return. I hope you don't get soft on me again. Konoha needs to be strong again, both in its leaves and in its roots. Hokutsama, is this a wise choice? They will surely be targeted for this. The Abirame head, Shibi, asked. More than sure. While, yes, they would be targeted, that would happen anyway. Especially after this exam. The Kiranin will surely notice Goran's abilities and be after him. Jiraiya has told me that Orochimaru, who has taken her sister, is connections to Otogakure. So the Otonin will likely be after her. Naruto, being a clan head, will be targeted no matter what we do. I think things will be better this way, at least with a team name and title they will have a better chance. Konoha will also be safer with this. If they think we have a group of up-and-coming Sannin, then we have more political pull. His reasoning was good and many of them nodded their agreement. So, they aren't being promoted to Chunin? A councilman asked. Oh, they will be, just after the exam. I want to show off our new Tsukimono Kyumi, after all. If they shine, then we get more clients. If they don't, well, I don't see that as a problem. After that, the team was dismissed. Congratulations, Anko-sensei. You're a full jounin now. Inare exclaimed after they shut the door behind them. Why, yeah. I guess I am. They heard her whisper. Looking at her, they saw she was shaking and had her head down. There were droplets falling onto the floor. I can't believe it. After all this time, my dream has come through. She looked up at them. She was crying, but the smile on her face was that of true happiness. I've waited for this day for a long time. Thank you all. Naruto walks up to her and puts his arm around her shoulder. So, to celebrate, how about I take you all out to eat my treat? I was thinking dango and sweet bean soup. How does that Su dash? He couldn't finish his sentence because he was being dragged through the village by a newly named Jounin. Goran and Inare looked at each other, then run after their comrades. A few days later. It was now the start of the Chunin exams. Naruto, Inare, and Goran were standing in front of the academy. They were strong, they were prepared, they were ready. Naruto switched out his coat for a simple black turtleneck, though it did have the Uzumaki swirl he liked so much on the upper left sleeve. It also had a giant swirl on the chest. He got this as a gift from the Hokage, saying that it was something from his heritage. 2. He did this because he had mainly used the coat for training. The coat was actually a weighted trench, but he maxed it out. Hey, just because he could be as strong as he wanted, didn't mean he would go and be lazy about achieving it. After entering the building, they passed the group of people trying to get into one of the classrooms. However, the classroom they were trying to enter was a floor below what they wanted, so they kept moving, not saying anything to anyone. Too bad, even though it's to pick out the unprepared. It would add to the challenge to have more participants, Naruto thought as they walked up the stairs. They noticed Anko was at the end of the hall waiting for them. I can't stay and chat, but I am proud of you three. You three are ready for this and, hell, you three could take out some Jounin if you tried. So, please. Kick some ass for me? She said this, a smirk growing on her face. Theirs matched hers as they nodded at her. Oh, I have a surprise for you all, but you'll know what it is in about an hour or so. Waving at them, she disappeared with a poof of smoke. Looking at the door in front of them, Naruto looked at his two teammates, a feral grin on his face. He was going to make a hell of an entrance. They grinned back at him and nodded. 1, 2, 3. This was the first exam. Genin from just about every ninja village was here, each hoping to get a chance to either become a Chunin, kill someone, or settle a score of some kind. For some teams, this was their first exam ever, for others it was their 5th, 6th, or even 7th run through. Needless to say, some people were just not Chunin material. Genin were chatting amongst themselves. How would these exams begin? Would there be a lot of fighting? Think someone will die horribly? Hey, maybe the first part is the easy one, what about the rest of the exams? These were questions running through a lot of their minds. None of them were ready for what happened next. Schleink. This noise startled every one of the tune-in hopefuls in the room. Looking at the source, they were shocked to see what looked like ice. Maybe it was crystal? Glass? Whatever it was growing from the cracks around the door. All of a sudden the door itself started to turn into the substance and then it shattered into dust. Well. So many people here. A commanding male voice spoke from the other side of the floating dust. There were 3 of them, but nobody could see them. Yes. So many. To be judged. Let's see if we can't make them, giggle, do whatever we please. A female voice broke through. Even if we have to break our new toys to make it play like I want it to. I shall imprison them into the darkest pit of Tartarus, if they decide not to, my dearest friend. Another spoke in a deep monotone voice. I could grasp each and every one of you and hold you for an eternity, it would be so easy. The dust started to settle. Some of the genin in the room were frightened, to say the least. Are you the examiners? One of the braver genin asked. A deep chuckle escaped from one of the males. No. Just like you, we are here for the exam. For the most part. We are also here to, test? No, examine? No, play? Play with the other contestants. He said as they walked in. After passing the threshold, the door, which was pretty much powder, gathered back up and fixed itself, and the crystal-like substance was disappearing. Troublesome. Naruto, you have changed quite a bit. Turning to the voice, said boy grinned. Yeah, Shikamaru. I did, but what did you expect from working in T&I? It isn't rainbows and butterflies in there. Troublesome blonde, sigh, glowing-haired blonde. Shikamaru said, walking up to them. I know, and Chuji behind him. Naruto. Your hair is glowing. I know, yelled, pointing at his head. What the heck is it? She squealed as she started poking the side of his head with a stick that appeared from nowhere. I know, it's just part of my bloodline. Naruto said, whacking the stick away. Oh, that would explain it. She muttered, backing away. So, who's the 2 next to you? Chuji asked between bites of chips. Naruto smiled, but before he could answer, a few more of his old classmates walked up to them. Whoa! Naruto! Is that you, man? Hey Akamaru, it's Naruto. Team 8 was walking towards them, Kiba being the one that called out. Hey Kiba, Shino, Hinata. How have you 3 been? Naruto said with a smile. You know. We've been doing great. Right, Akamaru? But who are the 2 with you? They're your teammates? He asked, looking at Inare and Goran. Yeah, these 2 are Dash. Naruto. Okay, not. He was getting annoyed. He turned to see Team 7 walking in through the door. Sasuke, Sakura, and you must be Rika. Nice to meet you. He said to the girl. She had long brown hair and hazel eyes. She was wearing black sandals, shinobi pants, a grey GI, and had a high 8-8 tied to her forehead. She nodded at him and pulled out a book on self-control. Weird. So, Naruto. Turning his attention to the source of the voice, he was face to face with his old rival friend, Sasuke. Who's your teammates? Sigh. I was actually getting to that before I was interrupted. These 2 are my teammates and their names are Dash. Excuse me, but you newbies might want to keep the voices down. Naruto, eyebrow twitching, turned to see a grey-haired boy with glasses. The boy who interrupted him. Must not kill. I have to apologize to Iruka-sensei and Mizuki-sensei. I didn't think getting interrupted a few times was so annoying. The boy, introduced as Kabuto, after talking with some of them, pulled out a deck of cards, saying that he was a great information gatherer, and that he had information on most of the genin participating in this exams that would appear on the cards if he wanted to. Well, why don't you tell us about Team 13? Sakura spoke up from next to her two teammates, who nodded at her idea. Team 13. Whoa, this team has a group title as well as individual titles for each member. The boy exclaimed, his shock was shared with the other genin that were within listening distance. Okay, Team 13, or the Taikoku Tsukiru no Kami, led by the T&I division consists of 3 members. Saibanso no Naruto. That would be you. The boy said, looking at Naruto as his face was on the card, or as his title is called, the Kaichi no Saibankan. The father judge. Age, 12. It says here that he is the head of his own clan, but is only one of 2 members including. Wait, that cannot be right. What? It says here that he has a daughter. Everyone was now looking at Naruto. That is none of your business, please continue. Shrugging, Kabuto continued, okay then. Their mission stats are, wow. You guys have a huge mission amount of completed mission. Turning the card around, he shows the other teams. They were ranked from D to S. Their teams was as follows: D0, C24, B36, A12, S1. Wait. How is that possible? We haven't been out of the academy more than a few months. How did you get that many missions, let alone all high-ranking ones? Is that an S-rank mission on there? Sakura yelled, looking between the card and Naruto. Well, to answer truthfully, do you know how hard it is to interrogate a ninja or high-ranking individuals with hurting them or causing them damage? Naruto asked in retort. Most of those missions were interrogation missions that didn't take more than a few hours with the skills we each have at our disposal. As for that S rank, sigh. That was actually one we completed just the other day. That last bit shocked everyone again. What was the mission? Well, normally it would have been an A-rank protection and escort mission, reserved for Anbu and Chunin. However, Hokuto-sama gave us a chance to earn ourselves a group title, as well as escort a person of great importance to the Land of Fire. Who was so important that they would need to be here a few days ago? Hell, the only person I know that needs a ninja escort here is the daimyo, and I only know that cause my sister helped once as a Chunin escort. Kiba said with a confused look, then his face went off like a light bulb. Wait, you guys didn't escort the daimyo here, did you? Silence gave him his answer. Holy shit. Naruto. You escorted the daimyo. Ino gasped out. Yeah. He's a great guy, to tell you the truth, really likable. Naruto stated like it was a regular escort mission. Actually, he wanted my team to do it next year as well. Anyway, Kabuto, if you would? Oh. Right. His skills are mostly unknown, mainly due to his bloodline ability. It allows perfect control of his chakra as well as infinite chakra if he wishes. Now all of the ninja in the room except those who were his classmates or teammates were staring at him in catatonic shock. His ninjutsu are mid-jounin, but it is his tactics that scare me. They are ranked as Anbu Taicho level. Anbu captain level tactics, and that's without planning ahead. Shaking away his shock, Kabuto continued, his female teammate is called Hikaku Inare, or the Satsugai Saishin, the killing spirit. The title was based off of her dujutsu ability. She has the ability to control people, without even needing to look at them, like with the Sharingan. Her stats in genjutsu are high Chunin without its powers though, so she would be a tricky one to fight. Low Chunin ninjutsu, unknown on taijutsu or kenjutsu. Gumonjutsu, or torture technique, is high jounin. He stopped to shudder. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get caught by her, he said with a few around him nodding. Last of the team we have Matashitamo Goran, or Hidor no Te, the Hydra Hand. His title is based off his bloodline. It gives him the ability to grow as many arms as he wants, up to 100. He is low jounin in kenjutsu, thanks to a style he created based off his bloodline's ability and how many swords he can carry. That's all I have on him, though it says that he's a great in the field of torture as well. After that Naruto ignored him, until a group of nin attacked him. However, he decided to watch instead of get involved. The nin that attacked all had a musical note on their headband. They must be sound ninja. Like those 5 jounin from the other day. All right, that's enough. Everyone looked to the front of the room to see a man standing there. He was tall and had scars all over his face, a bandana on his head, and a long black trench coat. Everyone shut up. There will be no fighting in my exam. Now, come up and take a card. The number on the card is where you will sit for the first exam. After everyone had sat down, he introduced himself. My name is Marino Ibiki and I will be the examiner for the first portion of the exams. He went on to tell them about the test they had to take and about the point system. Apparently, you have a total of 10 points and every time you're caught cheating, they will take some points off. When all of your points are gone, you and your teammates fail the exam. On top of that, they only had 45 minutes until they could do the final question. Naruto didn't have a problem with this test. Why? Well, he doesn't work in T&I without being able to figure out the true meaning of something this simple. Lucky for him, the guy in front of him was not really a genin. Forming some chakra strings from his wrist, making them thin enough to be invisible, he attached them to the wrist of the nin in front of him. Getting a few of the answers, he stopped and decided to relax for the rest of the exam. Goran wasn't having much difficulty either. He had learned a while ago to copy a person's writing as well as red lips. One of the genin to his left was mumbling the answers, so he copied his mumbling and scribbles. When he was satisfied, he moved his headband to cover his only good eye, and promptly went to sleep. Inare was having the easiest time out of her team. She knew the answers to most of the questions, but she wanted to get all of them, mainly because she was bored. The genin next to her, a pink-haired girl, was already done with all of them. She was an ex-classmate of Naruto's. Using her bloodline, she made the girl whisper out the answers for the questions she wanted, as well as a few answers for things she just wanted to know. After the 45 minutes were up, Ibiki called out, "Pencils down. It looks like we have a lot of smart kids here. Or really good cheaters." Some of the genin flinched at this. I will now give the final question, but before I do, anyone who doesn't want to take it should quit now. Why would we quit now? A genin asked from the back. Simple, if you get the answer wrong, you will never be allowed to take the Chunin exams ever again, he said with an evil grin. Most of the genin in the room were yelling in outrage. What, but plenty of people here have taken the exam before. Yes, but none of them were unlucky enough to have me as the examiner. Now shut up, all of you. His yell quieted the room. Who here will take the question? Any who doesn't think they can answer can leave. After a few seconds, some of the genin started raising their hands. After about 5 minutes, nobody else was raising their hand. Anybody else? No? So, all of you think you're up to snuff. He walked closer to the desks. Fine. Then you all. The genin leaned in. Pass. What? What the hell? What do you mean we pass? Quiet. Now, the 10th question wasn't really a question. In the real world, you will get into a situation that will cost you more than your life. There are worse fates than that of death. Saying that, he reached up and removed his bandana, shocking most of the genin. His head was covered in horribly disfiguring scars. This is the price of information. Those who are not prepared to gain these, pointing to his scars, for their village, cannot be called Chunin and thus do not deserve the rank. Some of the genin were looking a little green from the disfigurements. So, I ask you all. Who will continue? Who is prepared to get these for their village? Nobody moved from their seats, some looking green, but understood why it was necessary. Good. Right after he said that, a black ball broke through the window. It burst into a banner that said, Examiner number TWO, the sexy snake mistress, Mitarashi Anko. Hey everyone. I am Anko, your next examiner. Anko stood there in all her glory. Goran decided to speak up about it too. Anko-sensei. You forgot to put on your skirt again. Yep, she was standing in her panties. Looking down at herself, she grinned and looked up at the red faces of the genin. So? Haven't any of you seen the luscious body of a woman before? She made a pose and a few of the genin, male and female alike, flew back in a rush of blood. Anyway, meet me at the next examination site, Area 44. Be there in 1 hour or don't come at all. With that she disappeared in a poof of smoke. Naruto looked at his two teammates who, like him, had grins on their faces. Area 44, their home away from T&I, sounds like fun. It was an interesting sight to see a large group of genin from different villages standing in front of a forest of massive proportions. Each were teams getting ready for the second portion of the Chunin exams, some checking weapons, going over strategies, or making sure they have supplies that are needed for whatever reason. They all stopped when the proctor, Mitarashi Anko, stepped out of a tent and told them to be quiet. Okay, kiddies. Here's what we are gonna do. She holds out both of her arms, showing she was holding two scroll, one had the seal for earth, the other for heaven. You are all to go into this forest with one of these two scrolls. Your primary objective is to get the other scroll from another team. However, you cannot open either of the scrolls until you are within the tower in the center of this forest or you will be disqualified. Are we clear? Good. Send someone from your team to come and collect one from in one of these tents, there will be a person handing them out in each of them. You all have 20 minutes to get prepared. After that she disappeared, not noticing the person watching her more than the others. Kukuku, oh Anko. You seem to have flourished in my absence. 20 minutes later. A buzz was heard through the area and Anko's voice came over the field. All genin head to the gate you were told to go to. The second portion of the Chunin exam starts at the bell. After about 5 minutes everyone was at their assigned gate when the buzz was heard again. The gates all opened, the genin raced in. Thus started the second test. With Naruto. Hopping through the forest was quite relaxing for these three, having pretty much lived there for the last few months when not working in T&I or out doing regular missions. This was their second home, training field, and job all wrapped up in a blood-soaked bow. So, we have a heaven scroll. Who should we get a scroll from first? The group from Rock, maybe? I hear they're all dumb as their village's namesake. Inare asked. Nah, I think we should try those sound idiots, they did give away their attack style in the first portion of the exams, Goran said, remember them for their attack on that Kabuto guy. That's not a bad idea, makes it a little easy for us though. Why don't we follow them around and see what they are up to? A new village wouldn't just send a single genin team without an objective, winning the exams just wouldn't be it. If a stronger village sees them as a threat, then they wouldn't be a village for long. They must have a really important goal to be sent here. Either that or their Kage has no grasp on politics at all. Naruto said, the other two agreed. It was a good catch on his part, a village less than a few years in the making just sends fresh genin to one of the world's biggest contests and wouldn't have other goals in mind? Not likely. Their minds made up, they head towards where the Sound Nin's chakra sources are. Wait. They stop at Naruto's words. Do you too feel that? There is a large chakra source near them. Almost as large as the Hokage's. The other two's eyes widen. It's in the same area as the Sound Nins, they must be meeting for some reason, maybe their sensei? No. Impossible, the senseis are not allowed in here under anything but special circumstances. What the hell is going on here? With that he started heading for the source as quietly and fast as he had dared. As they got closer, they felt the larger chakra fluctuate and shoot off in the other direction. The other three were still there. When they were close they heard the three talking. Okay, then we are agreed, we will kill the Ucha and keep the other two as presents for Orochimaru-sama. Naruto froze when they heard this. Oh boo, do we have to keep the pink-haired one? She's girly and acts like a spoiled little fucking brat, very unfit to be a kunoichi. Hee, well, if Orochimaru-sama doesn't want her, I'd sure love to keep that bitch as my pet. I mean pink hair. Hey, maybe she's related to Tayuya? Maybe distantly, through the same ancestor. Anyway, we have to keep moving. We must catch up to the Ucha and we don't have time to fool Ruguurk. The mummy-wrapped sound Nin's speech was interrupted by what looked like a glass blade of some kind. The other two had enough time to shout in surprise when they too were killed, the girl with a senbon to the forehead, the other guy by assisted suicide, the samurai way. Okay, first search them for their scroll as well as anything useful, then we head after my old classmates and that snake bastard Orochimaru. Naruto was mad. The man that ruined his friend and sensei's life and childhood had infiltrated the exam, but not just that. He broke into his home to do something to his friends, this evil man that would murder the innocent and kill children all in the name of what he called science, all of it a means to an end. This man had to be stopped. Ready to go Naruto, they had an earth scroll on them as well as a scroll of orders apparently written by that guy Kabuto they attacked in the first part of the exams. It says to meet Orochimaru here during the second exam, the scroll was to be burned. So, he's a spy. They probably did that entire attack to dissociate him from them as much as possible. It was all a hoax. Goran said, gaining Naruto's attention. Right then. Goran, I want you to go to the tower and tell them you need to see the Hokage about a spy in the exams. When you meet him, give him the scroll as well as all the information about what we found out here, especially about Orochimaru. Inoue, I want you to be my support for this. Whatever happens, do not reveal yourself. This guy is obsessed with bloodlines and will go after you for it. He is an intelligent madman obsessed with collecting every jutsu in the world, including bloodlines and family jutsu. He wants to live forever and basically obtain godhood. So please, be careful you two. Getting nods from the two, he and Inoue headed off in the direction of towards the large chakra source they now know is Orochimaru. With Goran. Getting to the tower was as easy as clockwork, especially because he knew Shunshin no Jutsu, so he was able to teleport there in about a minute. Instead of entering through the small doors, like he was instructed to do when they got their scroll, he headed to one of the larger doors. He was met by a sickly-looking man that he knew all too well. Hey sensei. I need to see the Hokage immediately. There is a spy in the exam as well as something much, much worse. Eyes wide he nodded, come on. Then he coughs and turns around running through the door, Goran on his heels. With Naruto and Inoue. They had been chasing after Orochimaru for a few minutes, but he had about a 5-minute head start as well as being an S-rank ninja over them. After a little while Naruto had started sensing a few other sources, 2 he recognized immediately and 1 that took him a second to get. It was Team 7. And Orochimaru had stopped, he seemed to be following them. Let's follow at a distance, use Psi Code to communicate. Getting a nod from Inoue they moved on. Naruto felt lucky that they decided to learn Psi Code. Psi Code or Stealth and Intelligence Code was a specially made way of speaking by using sign language, body movement, and knowledge of the people or person you're talking to. It was difficult to learn, but worth every minute of learning and spending time with each other that they had taken to get it down to a T in under 3 months. The only problem was that they had only used it on one actual mission, the very one they had taken before the exams. Luckily Anko made them stay together for the entire 3 months and they were proficient enough in it to have even a mundane conversation. Though it was a little blocky. Okay. Let's go. Getting closer to Orochimaru, Inoue sent out a bubble that causes everyone to not notice them or see them. Absolutely no threat. Okay. Bubble is up. Good. Let's hope that he didn't notice us before you put it up. Getting a nod in agreement, they snuck close enough to hear any conversation that he may have with the team. They felt a build-up of chakra from him and saw a huge tornado rip through the forest at Team 7. Whoosh, boom. Bullseye, it caught them all in the blast, though they didn't get tossed too far. Coo, oh my. Sasuke. What a strong boy you are to be able to get up after that attack. Orochimaru hissed out as he watched Sasuke get up from some fallen branches. What the hell? Who are you? Sasuke yelled at him. Me? Oh, I am just a bearer of a gift. A gift just for you, Sasuke. The man replied, walking out of the shadows to reveal a woman? What the fuck? Are you some kind of tranny or something? Look, I don't know if you heard or not, but I only like girls. No thanks man, not interested. Sasuke yelled at the woman. Frowning, Orochimaru spoke, "You misunderstand, I am not guy or interested in you in that way at all." He smiles. "I am interested in your abilities. I wish to make you stronger, so that you may gain the powers that you need to destroy your brother, Itachi." His smile vanished with him as he moved to dodge a hail of kunai that hit where he had been standing. "I don't give a damn about my traitor of a brother. I will not live my life the way he wanted me to. Whoever you are, you made a huge mistake here. Now, die." With that, the kunai that he had thrown suddenly jumped out of the ground and headed towards Orochimaru again. Not expecting it, Orochimaru wasn't able to dodge the attack fully. Standing there with skin hanging off of his face, he peeled the rest of, revealing his true face: pale skin, yellow eyes, and a sickly long tongue. "That was very unexpected, Sasuke." HMM. He chuckled, "So much more than I expect. So strong for a genin, to be able to hit me. Excellent." Sasuke continued his barrage of attacks, but suddenly he stopped and the kunai flew over to him. He took out a bundle of paper and put one on each of the kunai. "You want to know something interesting? Almost every ucha has fire as their main element. Almost every ucha was born with that element being their strongest. Except for me, that is. You see, I found that my chakra doesn't lean to fire, no, it leans towards something much more powerful." With that, he threw the kunai, each had a slip of paper on them. Orochimaru didn't dodge, instead, he bent his back to a 90-degree. The kunai sailed over him. "Ah, I should have known. Ninja wire. Extremely good quality by the looks of it." Crack! He snapped back up fast enough to make his back give out a sickening crack. "But it looks like you failed to hit me, dear boy." His smile vanished though, when he saw the smirk on Sasuke's face. He then heard a crackling noise and didn't have time to even attempt to dodge as he was electrocuted with thousands of volts of electricity. Like I said, something much more powerful. Those pieces of paper are actually electric seals that I learned to make, each one with enough power to completely fry an adult after a few seconds. He watched as Orochimaru writhed in pain from the electric current running by him from the dozens of wires wrapped around him. A little lesson: electric seals are also known as city seals, because the bigger cities and villages use them to power heavy machinery and even their electric department. The amount of energy is so great that one of them can run all of the Ucha complex for a year straight, if they are made correctly. After he said that, the electricity stops. Orochimaru's body looked charred and was smoking. Damn, that was good. Heh, I guess Naruto was right. Delving into studies and training with a really open mind helps you think of very creative ways to beat an opponent. He was approaching the smoking body when it started to crumble and Orochimaru stood up from the ashes. He looked furious. I may have been underestimating you, Sasuke. I don't make the same mistakes twice. With that he was moving. Faster than Sasuke could see, he was behind him and bit him. A harsh burning sensation started to crawl down his neck, making him scream. As the pain burned through him, he watched as black marks started creeping down his body, then he passed out. Naruto and Inoue. As soon as Sasuke was bit, they made their move. They teleported behind Orochimaru and stabbed him in the back of the head, which turned into mud. Who are you two, I don't recognize you two at all. It would appear that my spy isn't as good of an informant as I thought. So, who are you two? Orochimaru was standing on the other side of the clearing. Orochimaru, you traitor of a bastard. What did you do to him? Naruto yelled, ignoring the question. Though, he already knew what happened. That is just a gift for the last Ucha, to make him stronger, of course. The elder man said with a smile. If he happens to join me for a chance at more power, then I will gladly take him on as a student. And why would he do that? He would become a missing nin just like the man he hates the most. Naruto said, his hand slowly inching for his side pouch. You may think so, but I believe he isn't as nice and loyal as you think. Sasuke is like me, he will do whatever it takes to do what he thinks is important. I believe that he still holds his brother as his top priority and he still wants to find and kill him. After he said that, he dodged the kunai they had thrown at him. You are an idiot if you believe that. Sasuke has faced his demons and has come out better. Naruto said as liquid chakra began to form around him. What? Your power has risen to unimaginable levels. Who are you? Then he noticed the purple-hued chakra and knew who Naruto was. So, you are the Kyuubi child. I haven't been able to get any information on you other than you being alive. Sensei must be keeping you close to his chest. Kyuubi? No, that being is no longer a resident within me. I took care of the beast a long time ago. Orochimaru was shocked, though he didn't show it. Though I likely extinct bloodline have you acquired that allowed you to beat even the Kyuubi? I am aware of every bloodline since the Six-Path Sage was among living. I see no problem in telling you. There has never been a bloodline like mine for one. The Hokage checked that out first to make sure. Naruto was stalling, they both knew this, but luckily for him, Orochimaru was interested in his bloodline. I have called it Kurisutaru no Keshu Kaikara, Judgment of the Crystal's Force. It allows me to do two things and those two things allow me to many great things. This may sound unimpressive, but that is misleading until you know what they are. Orochimaru nodded, all bloodlines have a weakness of some kind. This was an irrefutable fact about bloodlines. And those two things are? The first, allows for a change in my chakra turning it into liquefied chakra. There is only one other thing that is known for liquid chakra as dense as this, and that is the home tree of the village hidden in the is called Ikedengan or liquid power. Orochimaru was quite shocked at this, to be able to condense your chakra to the point of liquefaction on a scale of the chakra water from waterfall is an extreme power. After all, denser chakra means more power to your jutsu, and stories of men turning into monstrous powerhouses because of the chakra water is well known and documented. And the other part of this bloodline? He asked. The other half of my bloodline is actually what allowed me to beat the Kyuubi. But first here is a demonstration of the first. After saying that, blue and purple started coming out of Naruto. His chakra was dense enough to be seen, something only people with high levels of power can do. Orochimaru watched as the liquid cloud of chakra started to thicken. When it hit the ground, it was as thick as any sap. That is what the part of the first ability. It gets better. Just watch. Saying that, he put his hand over the puddle of chakra and Orochimaru watched as it crystallized. You can use your chakra to make crystals. I hate to break the news to you, but there is already a bloodline like that. He was kind of disappointed. That was not new or amazing really, though the chakra water was a great touch. No, you look, but do not see. I didn't use the chakra to make crystals, I condensed the liquid further into a mass of solid chakra. What impossible? Let me tell you something else, traitor. I can do the same with my core as well as all the chakra in my body. What this means is, I can delve into an infinite amount of chakra. This is called Keshu Dengan, crystallized power. This is only the first part of my bloodline, which is called Hoku Haku or confession. The second part of my bloodline is called Zenshinukaya, full body acceptance. This is self-explanatory to a point. What I do is introduce the solid chakra to the areas outside my core and outside my chakra network, right into my muscles, skin, and organs. This process causes a reaction that is quite literally everything you have killed for. At this point Naruto had a kunai in his hand and stabbed himself in the stomach. What are you? Orochimaru stopped mid-question as he saw blue-purple liquid spill out of the wound instead of blood. When it was about to touch the ground, the liquid stopped and the process then reversed until the cut was gone. I survive any wound, including ones to the head, as long as I have chakra being produced into my body. Something else interesting, a human will stop aging as long as they have a large enough chakra shard and with ability to have one any size I want. Infinite chakra, ageless, deathless, and strength that surpasses almost all others. My, Naruto, that is quite the ability. Now all you would need is knowledge of every jutsu possible and you would have fulfilled all of my dreams for yourself. Orochimaru was calm on the outside, but inside he didn't know whether to be happy, freaked out, or enraged. In the back of his mind, he didn't notice a stirring of thoughts. In his second of musing he sensed a pain in his leg. Looking down he saw a senbon sticking out of his leg. It looked covered in some sort of liquid. Looking up at Naruto he yelled, "What is this?" "That is a concoction made for ANBU interrogations mixed in with some of my liquid chakra to make it about 34 times stronger. It causes paralysis of most of your body and is also a super truth serum. Its effects normally last about an hour, so about 30 hours or so until you can move. Oh, also, it's for Jounin or higher level prisoner, so there's something in there that causes your chakra to not work. There is no cure for it, and because of my chakra you can't get rid of it with a jutsu without using a lot of chakra of your own. So, I want to ask you some questions and you will answer them truthfully." "Damn you!" the older nin screamed. "Question 1, what exactly are you doing here?" I am here to get revenge on Sarutobi for betraying me and trying to kill me for pursuing my one true dream." "What?" "No, I'm not. The serum was working like it was supposed to." Actually, it seems like you do. You see, it doesn't make you say stuff from your conscious mind, it takes the information from the UN conscious mind. So everything you say is the truth, even if you don't know it." Grog. Orochimaru couldn't even form a sentence, he was so mad. Question 2, why did you think you could get away with the killing and experimenting? Because I was given permission from the fourth to experiment on prisoners. Prisoner through war or crime, it didn't matter, if they were in those particular cells, they were mine. I never kidnapped anyone. Damn you, child. Naruto was silent after that, shocked. What? With Goran. And he is probably stalling him for time right now. Goran had just finished explaining everything about. So my traitor of a student has returned and is targeting the Ucha. I pray that it's not for what I think it is. Let's go. We need to hurry, then. Jiraiya said as he appeared next to them. As they ran through the tower to the exit, the Hokage asked Goran if he knew where they went. Just follow the feel of a massive pulse of chakra. That'll be him. They followed the pulse to the source and found Naruto explaining the paralyzing truth serum to him. Signing for everyone to stop, they watched the scene, hoping to garner as much info as possible. When he answered the first question, everyone was shocked. The third was the most surprised out of all of them. How did he betray Orochimaru? Question 2, why did you think you could get away with the killing and experimenting? Because I was given permission from the fourth to experiment on prisoners of a certain rank or higher. Prisoners through war or crime, it didn't matter, if they were in those particular cells, they were mine. I never kidnapped anyone. Damn you, child. Given permission. Prisoners. Never kidnapped anyone. These were the three things that repeated in the Kage's head after that. What? He yelled as he jumped into the clearing. Minato never told me he gave you permission, nor did he have any documents on it. He yelled at his old student. He did. They were in the hospital, in the Hokage-only files. You will find it under the name Harunomaru. The name I had taken to hide my identity because of a certain event that had taken place. Orochimaru knew he had been beat. He knew Naruto had been stalling, but thought his teammates were getting help from Anko, his old student. The Hokage looked at one of the ANBU with him and signed something to him. What did he have you do for him? What kind of experiments did you run? In order, he wanted me to find a cure for rock joint as well as cancer, tumors, tuberculosis, and any sickness that I could. In return, he would give me a small sample of blood, hair, skin, or even teeth of the children that went missing. It was trying to find out who was stealing the children and found many ways that are helping, even today, ways to prevent from getting sick, prevention from poisons, certain diseases. I even created a few of the techniques that doctors use for brain or heart surgery. He also asked that I try to cure gene-caused diseases, so he gave me children that were extremely sick or deformed to try and fix them. After Tsunade left, I was the only one with the know-how or ability. Silence reigned once again. They knew the chakra-covered serum had affected Orochimaru because his voice sounded sincere, which would be impossible under normal circumstances. Even when he was younger, he sounded insincere or uncaring and even sarcastic. What about your goals? What were you doing to carry out your greatest goal? I already complete my goal. My father is Tojiro Zukiya. My mother was the Mika the snake handler of mist. I had a brother but he is dead by my father's hand. Everyone was confused. Why was he talking about his family? What about living forever or knowing every jutsu? The Hokage asked, confused and shocked at the information he just heard. Never really a goal of mine. I used that so people wouldn't get curious when I asked them a strange question or was looking up even stranger materials. I just wanted to know who my parents were. When I found out who my mother was, I approached her. She gave me a scroll that would open upon her death. I was able to open it the same night you chased me from my home, the same night Kyuubi attacked. Not another word was spoken until the ANBU that left earlier appeared with a dust-covered box of files titled Haruno Maru. If you look at the file marked S131 you will find what you are looking for. The Koge looked through the dusty files until he found the right one. Opening the files provided a shock for the third, as the first thing in the scroll was a list of curable diseases, practices, and a list of people's names and what they had been sick with. Many of the children cured were now high-ranking individuals, though he used a serum that made them forget about him. He also found a slip of paper with a seal on it, one that he knew too well. Minato. Pricking his finger with a kunai he keeps in his sleeve, he wipes it across the paper, rewarding him with a huge scroll labeled Sarutobi. He opened the scroll and began to read. Hokage Order S131, classified. To combat the technological and medical advances of the other villages, one Orochimaru of Konohagakure is given freedom to perform any operations necessary to help with the growing concern of disease, genetic or otherwise. He is to be given to S-ranked criminals to experiment with when human testing is needed. He is also tasked with creating or implementing any new techniques he finds or creates to test their effectiveness. Sarutobi was beside himself. He didn't know what to say or what to do. However, his thoughts were interrupted by the man who was once his student. I do not know how or why I have said those things. Haruno. Isn't that the Uchiha's little teammate? Wait. I have gaps in my memory. I can't think. Strahhhhg. Orochimaru suddenly yelled out and a seal made itself known on his forehead. A seal Sarutobi actually knew about. That's. Thinking quickly, he started making hand seals, Jiraiya following suit. Both slammed their hands on either side of his head. Kai! With that the seal began to unravel. Orochimaru, you will explain to me how a memory seal was placed on your head. His old teacher demanded. After getting oriented slightly, his mouth began to move. I placed the seal on myself to hide a secret that only the fourth knew about. In doing so I believe I may have sealed more than just some memories. I never was seal master material. He said, then proceeded to do something that nobody thought would ever happen. Orochimaru, the traitor of Konoha, broke down and cried like a baby. Sensei, that was a modified memory and emotion fusion seal. It used to be used by Rock's boulder teams to hide most of their memories as well as hold back almost if not all of their emotions. That means that. Jiraiya found himself unable to finish his sentence, so he just stared at the crying form of his once best friend. It means I have made a folly that I may never be able to pay, and that certain secrets are going to have to be brought up to light. Finished the Koge as he approached his ex-student. The crying man latched onto him when he got close, still crying, effects of the seal having built up for almost a decade and a half. Not even a man of Orochimaru's emotional caliber could control 13 years of emotional build-up. I am sorry to ask this of you, but what secret could be so valuable that you would do this to yourself? The Koge asked. The secret is the same one that the fourth went to you for, was the reply, making the older man's eyes widen in complete shock. After the shock wore off, the third and Jiraiya returned to the tower, taking the 3 genin with them. Orochimaru had fallen asleep during this time. Because they already had both scrolls, they were given a bye until the end of the second exam. However, the 2 boys on the team were more worried about their other teammate. The Hokage had called for a few ANBU to take Team 7 to the infirmary. They would not be able to finish the exams. Are you alright, Ina-Ray? Naruto asked, worried for his teammate. After all, her sister was taken by the man whose mind seems to have been warped because of his lack of seal mastery. I don't know how to feel, he's the man that I have tortured to get to, and yet, this information shines a twilight over everything. If he isn't as evil as his reputation says, he may be willing to reunite me with Sai. After that she stopped talking and just continued staring at Orochimaru as the Hokage and Jiraiya talked in whispers with one another. Hokage-sama, what would you like for us to do? Goran asked, interrupting the two. For now, go to a room and open both the scrolls, you will get instructions from there. Also, this whole incident is SS ranked classified. Naruto, I would like you to stay, your teammates can tell Anko to meet me here, we have some things to discuss. After that the two left, Naruto stayed wondering what the old man wanted from him. Naruto, I asked you to stay for a few reasons, the biggest being that you can keep him sedated with your chakra serum. He told the blonde, who nodded in understanding. Then the Kage made a hand sign and an ANBU appeared. Tori, I need Inoichi here 5 minutes ago, go. Sensei, what are we going to do if the release broke his mind like it did to the leader of Boulder, Deidara, the mad bomber? Inoichi will not be happy about this seal, especially considering it was one his family had made before they defected from Saragakure before destroyed. Jiraiya said. That little tidbit of info was a surprise to Naruto. Ino's family originated from Sky Country? Naruto, the Hokage interrupted his thoughts, while I am glad that you stalled long enough to allow Jiraiya and I to get there, I am saddened at your lack of tact when dealing with the situation. So, I will ask, why did you tell Orochimaru of your abilities? Thinking about it, Naruto replied, I couldn't think of anything that would allow me to get the upper hand. Even at full strength, I don't think I would have been able to beat him. Making him complacent, thinking that I was bragging allowed me enough time to catch him off guard